Good afternoon and welcome to Valley of the Whispering Titans by Jesse Decker, an adventure for Green and Ronin Games Fantasy Age, taken from their Layers book. I'm going to be your games master for this afternoon. I'm Brian F. Irving. I've made some modifications to the adventure, so those games masters who are watching it thinking that's not how it appears directly in the book, I have made some changes. That should also throw off any of those sneaksy players that are watching in the hopes of getting some spoilers because they won't know which was me fiddling with it and which wasn't. Our cast today are Patrick Heaviside as Kerj Razorclaw, Louise Mary Morris as Nicholas Marty, Sean McGuile as Alderaan, and the cast as Tamara Greyhawk. The music comes from Tabletop Audio and Nox Arcana, and I'm just going to open the channel so that our cast can now speak and be heard. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a necessity for the game. Okay, where we left you last, you had entered the Valley of Whispering Titans, made both friends and enemies, and were attempting to penetrate deeper into the valley itself in order to defeat the evil powers that seem to be perverting the valley, corrupting it, and turning it into this nightmare place. And indeed find Kerj's friend, the druid Callum, who went missing in here about 10 years ago, who you suspect you have seen whilst in your eagle form, and who seems to be a bit worse for wear and somewhat under the influence of the valley himself. Eschewing the closest of the next titanic skulls, you've decided to throw your enemies a bit of a curveball by crossing the valley floor to one of the other skulls instead, in the hopes of confusing them and throwing their forces into somewhat disarray. Whilst passing through the marshes and the Oxbow Lake area in the roughly middle of the valley, you were attacked by giant mosquitoes, which you made pretty short work of, to be fair. However, you were also attacked towards the end of that fight by more hanging vines, and decided that discretion being very much the better part of valour, you were going to show them a clean pair of heels and make a run for it. Which is probably rather wise. So that's where we left you last week. We're starting just as you are fleeing from the hanging vines. Does anybody want to do or say anything before I start with the dice rolls?
I don't know. Have we got any lead killer?
Sadly not, and also the insect repellent that you were given by Melosa the Fae didn't seem to work very well on the giant insects either. We set it alight and the insects largely just ignored it.
I take it the leeches ignored it as well.
The leeches not so much, but were you still carrying yours when you got leeched?
Pretty sure I lit it.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you lit it as well. Okay, so you're panicking a bit because as you're running, you notice that you're covered with leeches, but because your insect repellent thing is still lit, you realise that the best way to deal with leeches anyway is to burn them off. So pressing a lit. Yep, go ahead.
I really must interject there.
Do feel free.
That is one of the worst things you can do, because
Is it really? Right,
it makes them reflexively vomit.
Lovely!
That sounds fairly unpleasant.
So whatever they've already got in their system would go back into you.
And it might not necessarily have come out of you in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. The best thing to do with leeches is to leave them alone until they've finished feeding. They're going to take about a teaspoon worth of blood each. I mean, fair enough, if you're covered in them, yeah, you're not going to be as happy. Okay. But like pulling them off can cause a worse wound, because they have like an anticoagulant.
I knew about the pulling them off because it tends to tear a large wound.
While they're attached, there's an anticoagulant, but I think they do something when they come off naturally that promotes healing in a better way than removing them by any kind of force.
Okay.
But are any of us going to know that?
Well,
I am a druid.
That would, yeah, well, exactly. That would depend largely on whether you passed either a medicine roll
Yep.
or a natural law roll. And as Patrick points out, Kerj is a druid, so that would sort of very much be in his wheelhouse. So I'm going to give you a very low target number of 7. So if you'd like to give me a roll for that.
Are we supposed to be on the other map?
Not yet, no.
Oh, right, okay.
You're in a chase at the
on that
moment,
one, yeah?
so... Sorry?
Intelligence on that one, did you say?
Yes, it'll be an intelligence natural law roll. And that's a pass. Okay, so as Nicholas is about to press this lit thing towards the leeches, Kerj stops him and warns of why that would be a bad idea. Fortunately, during the course of the conversation, the fumes themselves have irritated the leech enough that it decides it's going to leave. It's had enough. It just pops off. It drops back into the sucking mud at your feet. The other leeches also start to detach themselves as well. So you're going to take 1d6 minus 3 damage. So there's a strong possibility that the damage will be none at all. Let us just see. I'll roll a d6 and we'll subtract 3 from the result. Nothing.
You gain 2 health from beneficial nutrients they put into you.
Got any leeches for this? That's going to confuse our American audience who will never have seen that advert, but never mind. Okay, so you've no longer covered by leeches. You're pretty confident that you've outrun the hanging vines, which only have a limited range and they're quite small, quite slow. Excuse me. However, your cacophonous flight through the swamps, excuse me, I do apologise, has naturally enough attracted the attention of more of these giant swarming insects. You can see them buzzing in the distance and hurtling in at you. The advantage they have in a chase is that they're in the air, so for them their chase target number's fairly low, whereas you're fighting through sucking mud and sudden watery pools and bits of fallen tree, and you're dodging things as well. So your two options are to try and stand and fight against this second cloud of insects, or try and outrun them. What would you like to do?
How many are we talking about here?
Let me just have a look, and let's
What would be the? Do we need to make a seeing roll?
Make a seeing roll, because a lot of them are weaving in and out of one another, so the exact number might not be immediately obvious to you.
It's a bit fuzzy.
It's a bit fuzzy, yeah.
15.
Oh, 15, yeah, that's fine.
4 stump points.
You can easily
21, 6 stump points.
Oh, yeah, absolutely no problem at all. Okay, there's 9 in total closing on you. So it's a bit of a swarm, really.
Well, we managed to take down 4 of them previously.
You did.
Yeah, but not without incident, though.
Not entirely without incident, that's a very good point.
Well, the simple fact of the matter is, we're running through a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
They're flying over a swamp. Mm-hmm. They're on home ground. Yeah.
One extra thing though, aren't I still disguised as a giant mosquito unless an hour has passed?
You are still disguised as a giant mosquito, yes.
Would we try and convince them that you are my prisoners, because they didn't say me at all? So they have no reason to think I'm not.
Mosquitoes not genuinely renowned for taking prisoners.
Okay, just a thought.
Bear in mind they are animal intelligence, and the only reason that Kerj was able to speak to them at all was via the use of magic. And their thought process was extremely primitive.
Do they count as a minor or moderate threat?
Minor threat, yeah. I see what you're thinking.
Yeah, I should actually be able to turn into one of those.
Can you turn into giant versions of animals, though? Because they're not naturally giant. They've been perverted by the...
It would be entirely at your discretion.
Oh, dear. I'm going to say probably not, because this is not a naturally occurring thing. These have been... You know how the boars have the sort of strange fiery effect, and the wolves had the sort of bony plates? The effect of the valley on these creatures is it's created giant ones. So when Melorsa told you she didn't think they were affected by the valley, she was wrong.
Yep.
Well, she was either wrong or
But she could be telling the truth and be wrong. I mean,
yes.
that's
She could either be fibbing or she could have been telling the truth and just be wrong herself. You've no idea.
The question I would have is, are these mosquitoes also under the influence of the master? Or are they going to be reacting naturally and therefore repelled by the fumes of the...
That's a very good point, because actually Melorsa didn't say they weren't affected by the valley. She said they weren't under the control of the master, which is a different thing. So, you don't know, is the answer to that.
Are they coming this way? Are they approaching?
Oh yeah, they're approaching rather quickly, so I probably will have to press you for a bit of a decision about whether to stand and fight or whether to run.
If we run, they're going to be on top of us. We're not going to outrun them on this kind of ground, and then we'll have to fight.
It's a distinct possibility.
I would say we move anyway.
Try and find better ground to fight them on.
Better ground to fight on.
Also valid.
Is there any local plant? Is there anything hereabouts that, if it were to be regrown, could provide a more solid base?
That's an interesting question. Let me just take a look. Possible. I mean, there are a lot of shrubs and bushes and trees here, and there are. In point of fact, there are sections of the marsh that are more solid than others. You're currently not in one of the more solid parts, but you've certainly have traversed through some of the more solid parts. So yeah, while the bit you're in at the moment's a bit dodgy. Also, if you can outrun them for long enough, you might make it out the marsh, but that's unlikely because of the sheer distance involved. It's not by any means out of the question. So you can also use the various marsh trees and whatnot as cover from time to time, weaving in and out of them to further confuse them. Essentially, you do have a bit of a head start on them, and they are not, if I remember correctly, the fastest of creatures. Let me just double check that I'm not misleading you when I say that.
But are we not halved for moving through the swamp on foot?
You are much slower for moving through the swamp on foot, yeah. The way the chase rules work is you don't necessarily make a like-for-like comparison on speed, though. If your speed is significantly higher than an opponent's, you gain bonuses on the chase dice, because a chase is considered to be a bit more complicated than just outrunning somebody. It's a lot to do with weaving in and out of things, using the terrain to your advantage, and so on.
Dodging, rolling, etc.
Exactly.
Putting there obstructions between you and them.
Yes, exactly.
Shouting parkour.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. And let me just check. So their speed is actually only 12, which is going to put it in the same ballpark as the parties. So neither side would have an advantage to their chase dice on that in that regard. The mosquitoes would have the distinct advantage that they're in the air, so they have a lower target number on their chase dice because they don't have to worry about getting stuck in the mud or falling in the water or dodging an upcoming tree or so forth.
If we make a stand here, then we can get around maybe 2 of ranged combat, which could potentially make a dent before they're on top of us.
Now, I should probably add, just so you've got the full information, during a chase, if anybody comes within 10 chase points of one another, long-range missile weapons can be used against them.
Okay.
If you come within 5 chase points of one another, shorter-ranged missile weapons can be used against each other. And if you come within 2 chase points of each other, then you're within hand-to-hand combat. So if you stand and fight now, you will get 2 rounds of missile fire. If you run, it depends on how well the dice are in your favour. You might get 5-6 rounds of missile fire. They've got nothing to shoot at you with.
So that's 2 arcane blasts, or possibly some manner of water attack from Nicholas.
What's the range on the Arcane Blast? I think that's a short range weapon, so you could only get that if you're within
16 yards,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Or
Yeah.
24, depending on the level.
Okay, so Arcane Blast is going to be a short range attack, so they would have to be within 5 chase points of you to be able to fire it. Is anybody armed with a bow or crossbow? Well, obviously.
Two of the party are, yes.
And what's the range on your bows?
52.
No, right, okay.
26 is short range, 52 is long range.
Okay, so the bows are definitely long range, which means you can fire them as long as you can fire them at the creatures if they're within 10 chase points of you. Which means if you were to take off now, you would get at least one shot at long range and one at close before they're closed for you. And depending on how the dice pan out, you might get more.
My water whip's only 3 yards though, and I've just checked as well, by the way.
3 yards is
Okay.
going to count
Yeah,
as a
that's short.
melee attack then. So they would have to be
Okay.
within 2 chase points of you.
So we'd get one round with a couple of bow shots, a couple of arrows off at them.
Yeah.
Then a second round with, again, those arrow shots, and then an accompaniment of
Arcane blasts, yeah. And then you would be in hand to hand. Whereas if you ran, you might get more rounds. But you might not. I mean, it does largely depend on the dice. But the faster you make the decision, the more of a head start you have.
I think we should run.
Okay?
I think stand and fight. Sean?
I'd be for fighting withdrawal,
Right, yes.
Okay.
A fight
where
withdrawal.
we
Yeah.
basically shoot and move.
Yep.
Like, whoever's the slowest member of the party moves off first.
Mhm.
We'll give cover and fire.
Okay.
Would be the tactic I would go for.
There are certain special stunts involved in either a chase or a fight and withdrawal as well, which allows you, if you gain stunt points, you can use chivvy them along, which is you transfer stunt points directly to one of the other player's chase dice, but they have to be behind you in the chase in the first place. There's Go On Without Me, which does the same thing but for somebody who's in front of you. And there's help, stop and help as well if anybody actually falls, which automatically changes their failed dice roll into a passed one. So, we've got one for run, we've got one for stand and fight, we've got one for a fighting withdrawal, which is essentially a run but shooting as you go. So,
Who's running Tamara?
That's a good point. I think Tamara's armed with a bow as well, isn't she?
Yep.
Okay, so I think
Yes,
she's
she is.
going to go for the fight and withdrawal then. But during the actual combat, because there will be, well, there might not be. You might outrun them. For the dice rolls on the run, Louise, you did it last week.
Yeah.
And I think Patrick did it the week before, so Sean, you can handle it
Is it me?
this time, unless you're finding it too much to handle at once, in which case you can hand it off to one of the other players.
Don't know. I mean, how does everybody else feel?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we'll start with round one, since it looks like we're doing a fight and withdrawal, because that seems to be the getting out of here seems to be the consensus. So it's essentially a chase, but concentrating on putting fire upranged against the enemy. So on round one, let's make the attack rolls for anybody with a long range weapon first.
Okay.
So I will do that in rather than actually. No, we could roll initiative because we might need to later if you get caught up. So I will. Let me see. Actually, I'm not going to bother with that right now because it would put us in a combating mindset straight away. So what I'll do instead is those with missile weapons will act in their dexterity order. So I'm going to imagine that's probably Alderaan first.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Make an attack roll with your bow then. Your target number is 13 as these things are coming in at you. So as the slowest members start to take off, the missile-armed members turn and fire and then pull back. So Alderaan to shoot first.
Boom.
Ooh. So the first shot slams into the first of the most advanced of the oncoming mosquitoes as it weaves through the pack to come out ahead of the others. It meets an arrow coming its way. Roll the damage. And 13 damage. That's 11 gets through. That, excuse me.
Right. How are you going to treat the knockback effect of this strike?
I will subtract 2 from its chase dice this round.
Right. Okay. Because effectively, any arrow from the bow actually knocks whatever
Knocks it
target back.
Yeah. Okay, so that was you scored 11, got past its armor. So that one's actually in a severely bad way straight away. Somebody else armed with a bow, that would be
Tamara?
Yeah, sorry. That's a point actually we should probably give her to somebody who doesn't have a bow.
Shooting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does Nicholas Marty have a bow?
No.
Right, so it's either you or Patrick can operate her for the time being.
You don't even have one for one of your musical instruments.
No. No.
So, Louise, do you want to take the first shot this
Mostly
round?
woodwinds. Yeah, sure. Hang on.
We can always bounce her between the pair of you. And is she aiming for a different oncoming insect, or is she aiming for the same one that Alderaan shot?
I think it makes sense to go for the same one.
Yeah, because it's slightly out ahead, I'm going to say that you would know he'd likely
Closest
aim
target.
for that one as the closest target. Yeah. So go ahead. And that's a hit. Roll the damage.
Sweet.
That's 9 points of damage. So between the pair of you, you've taken one of these beasts out. The first shot hits it square in the head. As it's tumbling through the air, the second shot hits it in the head as well and just crash lands into the marsh. There's a spray of water and mud as the thing ploughs forwards maybe another metre or two before it falls. Can I have a dexterity, running, or constitution stamina test from everyone, please? You can pick whichever one is most likely to give you a higher number.
Can I ask a question first?
Yes, you can.
Between where we are and where the mosquitoes are there any great number of those deadly vines?
Between you and them, no, because that would be area you've run through.
Right.
There are some behind, but they're quite a distance away.
You don't want to make bigger ones of them.
Well, I'm thinking once we're past them, increasing their numbers, and then the mosquitoes can come slamming into them.
Yes.
Other than the vines, is there anything else in the area? Anything?
Oh yeah.
physical?
There's quite a lot of sort of stubbly, gnarled trees in this marsh, so you could try a regrowth on one of the trees right in front of the creatures. See if you can get one to slam into them, if that's what you're thinking.
Just to give them a sort of speed bump to give us a little bit of extra time.
What's the range on your spell, though?
At the same time, I don't want to impede the ranged combat.
Yeah. What's the range on the spell?
I'm taking a look now. It doesn't actually seem to have a range, so I would assume it's probably hands-on.
It sounds like it might be. Let me just...
Yeah, base to base.
Right, yeah, okay, so unfortunately not such... Well,
No worries.
if they get within hand-to-hand combat range, which is 2 chase points, then I don't see a problem with you hitting them up then, to be honest. Okay, you all took off before they were close, so you get
Yep.
your first set of dice rolls before they can start dice rolling. So let me just see. Let me see. Nicholas, you scored an 11, which is actually a fail, so you're getting 0 on your chase total this round. Then we
Yes,
got
tomorrow's as well.
then we got Alderaan, 17 as a pass. He's on 6, so he's off. And then we've got Kerj, who got a 12. That's a fail for Kerj, so he gets to add nothing for his thing. Then we have got... Now, Tamara has scored 15. That's a pass, and she also has 6 stunt points to spend on it. So she could divide those stunt points between any of the other people to increase their dice roll for the round.
Makes sense to divide it between the 2 that failed.
Okay.
Would giving 3 of them each actually make it a positive, i.e. she chivies them both along.
If you chivvy them
Yeah.
both along, Nicholas Marty would only need 2 to turn that into a pass, which
Yeah.
would leave you 4 you could give to Kerj, which he would actually only need 1 to have a pass. So
that would
yes,
still leave 3.
yeah, that would still leave you with 3. So you could actually add another point each to their chase total as well, if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Nicholas Marty's gone from a fail to a pass and now has a 4-point chase total. As you're running, you can see Nicholas is kind of struggling, and she goes, "Come on, Nicholas, come on, you can do it quickly. Come here, this bit's more solid." And he follows the path she's pointing out, gets a bit better of a grip on the ground. She does roughly the same thing with Kerj, who's sort of slogging through the mud with his slightly thicker legs. She's like, "Come on, Kerj, you can do it. You have the strength just to pull through this." Kerj is like, yeah, actually, I have got the strength just to pull through this. And finds an extra burst of speed as he thunders onwards. So Kerj is still currently at the back with a chase total of 2. The mosquitoes are currently on a negative number. They haven't started the chase yet because you took off with such an advantage. So, this is your second round of long-range combat. Starting again with Alderaan. You can open fire on another one of these creatures.
Because we're at long range, it is on a -1 at this point.
Right,
By the way.
okay. Yeah, no problem.
I take his remover can't aim.
That's correct, yeah. Okay.
Still a 17.
So, he's off and running. He knocks an arrow as he runs, turns around, and poof, fires it straight at the oncoming insects. And another one flies straight into this oncoming arrow. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Is that working?
Yeah, that's working. And okay, you've killed it outright. So you just shoot that one straight through the head, and again it comes straight down, hits the ground. There's a spray of filthy mud and water up in the air as this thing's sort of shot out of the air. Right, it's Tamara to go, and I'm going to say, Patrick, do you want to roll for it this time because Louise rolled for it last round? It just gives people who aren't otherwise engaged in the action something to do. And then I'll just swap her between the pair of you until such time as you're...
As we're moving, can she also aim or not?
No, not while you're aiming, she can't. Okay. So she does the same thing as Alderaan. She knocks an arrow, turns around and looses it in the general direction of the oncoming swarm. This time, however, the insects see it coming and they just separate. The arrow goes boom, straight through the gap that they create as they weave backwards and forwards, or left to right really, and continue hurtling across the swamp towards you. You all decide to press on, so make another chase roll, which, as I say, is either dexterity, running, or constitution, stamina, depending on which would be the best for you. So Tamara has failed this round, Nicholas has failed this round, Kerj has failed this round. Alderaan's passed, but he's got 6 stunt points he can divide between you as well.
What do we need to change things to?
13 will get somebody from failure to a pass. So it would be 4
And
for Tamara.
Who's behind by the most?
Who's behind by the most would be Kerj.
Right, so Kerj is getting 2 points added.
Right, you are. So you add 2 points, which turns Kerj from a failure to a pass. As you chivvy him on, come on, Kerj, hurry up! And true to your instructions, he finds more solid ground and starts thundering up the way towards you. And stops looking over his shoulder, which is what's been slowing him down, as he keeps looking to see how they're going. We'll watch for them, you just keep running. And as he comes thundering up, I add 5 to his chase total. 7 he's on now. So that would be 2 points you've spent there. You've still got 4 more, so you can spend on
Who's
someone
next
else.
slowest in the line?
Next slowest in the line is Nicholas on 4, and then it's Tamara on 6.
Right, so Nicholas Marty gets the rest of the points.
Nicholas Marty gets the rest of the points. That turns Nicholas into a pass, puts him on 6. And I did say there were 2 away originally, so they don't get a roll this round either. So you continue sort of running onwards as the things are getting closer, but you've got 1 more round of long-range combat before they can start closing. So again, starting with Alderaan. 18, that's another hit. So as he turns round to chivvy Kerj on, he also takes the opportunity to fire a shot at one of the oncoming creatures, taking 7 points of damage. That leaves that one with 8. So he's shot it and wounded it. It's gone through one of its wings.
Knocked it back.
And it's knocked it back, so it'll get -2 on its chase total this round as well. And Louise, it's your turn to roll for Tamara,
Yep.
please.
So no aim, no.
No aim because you're running. Yeah.
Quick question.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tamara has actually got archery style, hasn't she?
I believe so.
I
Let me
think
check.
she has actually. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she does.
in that case, her arrows do knock back as well.
As well. Yes. They do.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so and she scored 5 points of stunts with that hit. So choose your stunts and do the damage in whichever order.
Right, hang on. This will be combat stunts, yeah?
That's correct. Yeah.
How much damage does she do with a bow shot? What's the actual dice plus?
Sorry, I'm trying to do 7 things at once. It's 1d6 plus 5.
1d6 plus 5. So she could take a second strike, or she could do more damage. But she could do an extra dice of damage on this one and shoot again. Perhaps. No, she can't because she can't reload.
That's right.
Yeah. No, sorry. No, ignore me.
Yeah. So your
Use-
options
use-
are shoot 2 of them and hope that the damage on the first dice kills one, or take extra damage. Well, they're not your only options, but they're your most likely
Try
options.
and shoot 2 of them, because, like, even if it doesn't kill one, that's still 2 of them damaged.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay. Roll the damage for the first
you
one.
need a reload,
Ah, shit. No, you're right.
right? So the
Yeah.
way you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
do it is if you do a rapid reload,
Right.
you can fire at the second one
Yes.
because that would use
Okay.
And
up
you
5
do
points.
have enough points. I'm
Right,
just looking
okay.
at it now. Yes. So we didn't really
Okay,
need that part
cool,
of the
I'll do that.
conversation. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so roll the damage for the first one. So you bring up your bow and fire. Twang at the foot. Oh, that's a kill.
Excellent.
So the one that Alderaan had shot earlier he only wounded. As it's starting to steady itself in its flight again from the injury to its wing, Tamara's shot then hits it in the thorax and kills it outright. It crashes to the ground. Again, there's a spray of mud and water, and it comes to a stop with its head through a tree.
Lovely.
Whilst all that's happening, Tamara's re-knocking her bow with a rapid reload, takes a shot at the next one, roll to hit. That's a miss. So she's missed the second shot.
No, that was a damage.
Oh yes, that's a
Roll
damage roll you've
Oh
rolled
shit,
there.
sorry.
You need to
Sorry.
roll it.
Pressed the wrong button, my
Yeah,
bad.
easy done. They are right next to each other. That's a hit.
Yeah.
That's a hit. So
Yeah.
I'll just keep the damage you already rolled, or
Fair.
would you prefer to re-roll
Fair.
it?
Good enough. We keep it. That's a pretty good roll.
It is a pretty
Yeah.
good roll, yeah.
It's a D6 plus 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you roll 5, so odds
So-
are you're not going to get better. But
Yeah, I
Having
was gonna say.
re-knocked, she shoots the next closest of the creatures, and again it's gone sort of through the wing. You can see it's rocking. Is it still a gate when you're in the air? I don't suppose it is. But it's rocking from side to side as it's flying in towards you, trying to stabilise itself and regain some composure from this massive tearing wound through its...
that'll slow it down.
That will indeed slow it down. So, I shall roll for the beasties, and if... actually, wait a minute. Let me just do this one first. Otherwise, I'm going to overwhelm myself a little bit as well. So, they're dexterity. I'm doing them as a group, so they would have passed with 6 points, but because the leaders have both been knocked back, they only passed with 4. So the mosquitoes are now on a chase result of 4. And I'm, just for ease, so I'm not looking around, I'll call your name and then make your rolls. Probably an easier way for me to keep track. So, Patrick, could you roll Kerj, please, for his chase?
Mm-hmm.
So this is his Constitution Stamina or his Dexterity running, whichever's higher.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me.
And that is 16 with 6 on the... So, Kerj, having broken himself of the bad habit of looking over his shoulder every few seconds, aware that the archers are handling that, and that at least one of the archers is really quick anyway, he just keeps running, just ploughing forward. He goes straight through one of the shallower pools of water, immediately realising he can see the bottom, so he's safe too. There's a spray of water and very startled leeches which have been thrown through the air as this huge bear man comes thundering through and streaks up the field, passing Alderaan briefly.
He said bear man streaks up the field.
I did, yeah. Nicholas, you to go.
The swamp police are after us now.
Yeah.
The Mozzers and the Roses?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god,
Okay.
that wasn't very good, was it?
Nicholas has
And-
failed with a roll of 8. So,
And there's a puddle
Bloody
of tar
god.
there.
Nicholas
Some of the crowd
decides
are on
to
the
do the
pitch.
same thing, run straight through that shallow piece of water, not noticing that there was one sort of ditch in it that Kerj jumped over, and Nicholas goes straight in that, face first, water everywhere, struggles back to his feet and starts to run again. However, that slowed Nicholas down somewhat. Patrick, do you want to
Could-
roll for tomorrow?
Could Kerj actually help him out in that situation?
No, because
I
Kerj
have
didn't
no
generate
stu- I have
scud
no
points.
stunts.
Oh, right, no. That's okay, yeah. Sorry.
This is for tomorrow running, yeah?
This is for tomorrow running, yeah. And yeah, she's added 6 to her total, so she's on 12. So she runs up to where Alderaan standing with the boys just fired. She braces her back against the same tree, nods to him, and he takes off running. So Alderaan, you to go. So they're effectively doing a fight and retreat by covering each other. Alderaan, make your... you just...
Failed.
You failed, okay. Alderaan
Failed
kind
by-
of swirls round the corner and loses his footing in some in a muddy patch you hadn't quite spotted, and skids to a knee. So you're still roughly in the same place as you were. So you and Tamara both on 12. The mosquitoes are on 4. Nicholas is on 6, which puts Nicholas within short range of the mosquitoes. And Kerj is on 13. So, starting with the long range attacks, remember Nicholas is in short range, so Nicholas can
Okay.
use a
Arcane
Blast if he wants to.
Yeah, cool.
But starting with the
Cool.
long range, Alderaan, give me a shot at these
Are
mosquitoes.
we within 26 yards
Yes.
effectively at this point, right?
You
Okay,
are about 8 yards from each other at the moment.
it's just about 16 damage.
16 damage. Okay, so you put a shot into another one of the mosquitoes and kill it outright. So you're down to just 5 of these things coming in at you now, from the 9 that they started with.
Nine.
Nine. Make a roll for Tamara, please.
This is her attack, yeah?
Yes, her attack. Yeah. That's 13. That's a hit. Roll the damage. And 9 damage has just killed one of the wounded ones. So that is them down to just 4. Closing in on you now. And it is Nicholas to attack with a short ranged attack.
Yeah, which I absolutely am going to do.
Yeah.
Everybody wish me luck.
More than half of the enemy are down. You've hit with 5 no, you've missed. Yeah, you've missed, haven't you? Because their defense is 13. So it's a near miss. The mosquito sees this blast of energy coming for it, and suddenly banks upwards, and then drops back down once the blast's gone hurtling past it.
Ah, gosh darn it.
Yes. So chase round number 4, and could I have a chase roll for Kerj, please?
Certainly.
That's a pass with 5 stun points as well, so you might want to hang on to those in case somebody else needs them. So I'll add 5 to your flight, so that's 15 to 18. 15 to, yes, 18. So Kerj is now quite a distance up the field. Nicholas, do you want to roll?
Yep.
That's a fail by 1. Unless Kerj wants to chivvy
one for Nicholas, yeah. I'll chivvy Nicholas.
Right, you are. So Nicholas, still struggling to get up, keeps, like, the mud keeps splattering and you keep sort of slipping back down. You can hear Kerj go, roll to the left! And as you roll to the left, you get your foot and stand and run. So I'll add 2 to your chase total. Tamara to go next.
Yep.
This is her chase
Hopefully
roll.
I've pressed the right button.
$16, that's a pass. She gets to add 5 to hers. So 17, she's almost caught up with Kerj, and probably would have done if she didn't sort of run a distance, knock in her arrow, and then turn ready to fire. Alderaan to make his chase roll this time. And he's passed. He's a little bit slow because he's still trying to get some traction as he starts, but he manages to eventually get some traction. Takes off a few meters and then thinks I'd probably best turn and fire. So I will roll for the mosquitoes. Their target number being considerably lower than yours because they're in the air. They've passed and they've added 5, and they also get 5 points of stunts, so they have a slightly different set of chase stunts for obvious reasons. Let me just check to see what they're going to use those on. Okay, so they've caught Nicholas Marty. So it now changes from a flight to a combat. So just give me a second to position everybody roughly where you are. We have Quoth. I haven't been rolling for Quoth because I figure the things are more interested in larger targets anyway. We have Nicholas Marty, who's been caught and is about to be glomped by the things. Next up, we have
I said that was
Alderaan.
me.
Well, quite, yeah. Next up, we have Alderaan, who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So he's about here. Then we have Kerj, who's the furthest away. However, I'm going to need a perception test from Kerj, please.
Certainly. Seeing or hearing?
Seeing this one, very definitely.
14.
14, right you are. I'm about to move you all onto the new map. When I do, I'll just return this one. When I do, tell us once you found where you are, because it's quite a large map. And I will ping something that Kerr just spotted that the others wouldn't necessarily have noticed. So, I'm bringing you over onto one of the swamp maps. There you go. You should also all be able to see that now.
Yes, I see me
Right.
surrounded by giant mosquitoes.
Yes. So, Nicholas is surrounded by, well, not quite surrounded, but he's about to be, certainly. You're about to be attacked by the giant mosquitoes. In fact, they've actually caught up to you, haven't they? Because they've got a higher thing than you. So, yeah, surrounded would be a good term.
Delicious bones everywhere as well. Great.
Delicious
I
bones.
can see myself.
You can see yourself. Brilliant. In that case, there's something else you can see. If you track north and slightly left, do you see where I'm pinging now?
Yes.
You see amongst those bones?
Yes.
There's a hanging vine there.
Ah.
You guys came past it so fast that it barely had time to react. Right.
There's another one
Further
there.
up there, exactly, there's one there as well. So there's quite a lot of hanging vines in the area, and one of them's right next to an as yet unsuspecting insect. So we're changing from a chase scene to a combat scene, so if everybody would like to roll their initiative, you can go ahead and do that.
I was going to say, unusually for me, I hadn't actually noticed those vines.
Yeah, well, these
You
ones
hit
are
them
smaller because they
well.
were asleep when you came, so they hadn't started to extend yet. That sounds much more... yes.
Okay. Apparently no valid token was selected, but it was.
Oh, is it not because you've changed?
Oh, it could be.
Do you have access to it? I don't know.
Yeah, you've got access to it. It's alright, I'll sort that in a second.
Kerr just
Tomorrow's
didn't go in either.
worked.
Kurt just didn't... So it's the two I've changed
No,
that didn't go.
mine did.
It's not on the tracker.
It's not on the tracker.
I can see. Oh. Well, it rolled anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah, roll.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just they're not automatically going into the
Ah,
tracker, and they should have done, but I'll fix that, don't worry about that. I'll just finish rolling these mosquitoes. And...
I ordered mojitos, not mosquitoes.
Okay, so, Nicholas, I'll just... missed. I'll just add a turn for you. What did you roll?
Let me roll backwards and check. That was tomorrow's. 11.
11. Right, you are. 11. And I'll just traverse down to Kerj and add turn. And Patrick, what did you roll for Kerj's initiative?
I believe it was a 14, am I?
14.
Yes, it was.
14. And there we go. Right. We'll just organise that. Descending order. First person to act is going to be Alderaan on 21.
Yeah, no surprise, really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's alright.
Okay, so let's shoot an arrow at
There's Alderaan, there's Alderaan.
this one here.
That one there, right you are, one of the ones that's about to stab Marty in the back of the neck. You're going to take a shot at it. Roll to hit.
Roll to hit.
And 12, I think, is actually a miss. Let me just check.
No
13
ability
was
to
the
aim.
target number.
Can't aim, can I?
This round you can, because I'm going to assume once you realise that they were catching Marty that everybody came to a stop. So yes, I'm
Right,
going to
fair.
allow you to aim, which
Well,
will
if-
take you
if-
to 13, which is a hit.
Okay. Yeah. Should have asked before. the
That's
action,
alright.
but there you
Right. 13 damage, so that leaves you with very little in the way of hit points. That's minus 11. Right, so that shot hit it in the thorax. You can see it's very badly distressed by the hit. It doesn't look like it can take much more. In fact, I'm going to give it a roll to see if it continues to fight when it's that badly injured. It's going to need to beat 11. 15, it did. So the thought of eating Nicholas Marty's blood is vastly more interesting to it than the thought of surviving. It hasn't noticed just how close it is to going out. So let's make a attack roll.
Oh, that was the next one in order, right? Okay.
It was, as it turned
I
out.
hadn't
Yeah.
realised that.
Neither did Outlab. Went down the thing and using aim action. No. 15. Is that a hit on Nicholas?
I believe so. Let me check. Yes.
Okay, that's 8 points of damage. Right, there is this one, which is actually coming up the flank. It's going to go for Tamara. So it comes buzzing in to attack against Tamara, and I really should just switch the toggle for that aim thing off. 13, is that a hit on Tamara?
Yeah, that's just a hit on Tamara.
Right, since you've got her thing open, you can handle this. She's going to take a 4 points of damage as not getting
Take
through her armor.
no points of damage.
Yeah,
Just going to bat that away with a shield. Isn't
yeah,
She?
Yep.
it comes buzzing in, and its big pointy face tries to stab her and just like crumples against her armor. It's all she can do, not to
Nice.
laugh.
Broke my
Rude.
dove.
The next one is going to head for a different target. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That one's buzzing in to attack Alderaan instead. Let's make an attack roll for that. And no, it's still not aiming. 18. Oh, sorry, 16. I need stronger glasses, I think. 16 to hit Alderaan. Is that a hit?
Yeah, just
It is. Okay.
kind of. Not, yeah.
So it's pronged you for 4 points of damage.
Yeah, okay. Again, it meets metal.
Yeah.
That wasn't the iron it was looking for.
Yeah, okay, so it kind of dents its nose, and it is Kerj to act next. What would he like to do?
So we've got some deadly vines,
Mhm.
which now 2 of them have passed,
Yes,
but they can move of their own volition, of course.
yes.
I'm going to see what the vines do on their own before I start to offer any kind of help that could otherwise
Backfire.
backfire on us. Concentrated fire. We'll have an arcane blast on that one there.
Okay, you open up with an arcane blast against that target there. Roll to hit. Okay, the arcane blast blasts underneath it as it sort of banks upwards when it sees this energy hurtling towards it. So it's Mosquito to go next. So it only leaves this one, which is attacking Nicholas Marty. Again, it's flying in to try and hit him from behind. And no, it still doesn't him. 14, is that a hit?
Yep.
Okay, and with 2 points of stunts, it is going to attach. So it does, as it swings in, it jabs you right in the back. You can feel it starting to suck the blood, to take 8 points of damage. And it's now attached, which means this have to target it hits round. Attached mosquitoes automatically succeed in a bite attack each subsequent round. So I will.
Thanks.
But you can't fight them off.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll just put something on to indicate that it's attached. What looks like an attachment. We use that drop. Call it a blood drop, even though it's green.
Nicholas isn't Spock.
It's got
Just
the ears
'cause he's
for
got pointy ears.
Live long and prosper.
it. Indeed so.
Not at this rate.
It's Nicholas to go. What would Nicholas like to do?
I'm an elf.
Nicholas would like to. Was damn half elf. Nicholas would like to fight off the thing that's attached. Thanks.
Okay. So your two options are to just try and kill it, or to try and
Yep.
match it in a strength contest, and whoever wins wins. So if you won, you'd pull it off. If it won, it would stay attached.
My strength is -1.
I would probably just try and kill it then.
Okay. So how would I do that?
Just attack it as you would anyone else, and just hope you do enough damage to kill it.
Okay. I'm going to assume it's going to be really hard to thingy up my water whip, given that that takes a couple of rolls. So I'm going to try and arcane blast it in the face.
Okay, give it an arcane blast. That is a hit, but only because it's attached. Otherwise, you'd have missed, because it can't maneuver when it's attached. So you blast it full in the face as it's trying to suck your blood. Roll the damage. That's 7 points of damage. So that's 5 gets through. So it's injured. Not enough to stop turning you into a Slurpee, though.
Oh no.
So it is Tamara to go next. What would she like to do?
Switch to giant killer sword.
Okay. She stores the bow and whips out a giant killer sword, drawing it in one flowing movement to make a strike as she draws. Roll to hit. Seventeen's an easy hit. Roll the damage. And 14, is that one injured? No, it's not. So it leaves it with 3 hit points left. Health points left. So she strikes across his body. It's very, very badly injured from the injury. Not killed, but close. And it is Alderaan to go.
Well, here's the situation. Yeah. This one that's in front of me.
Yes.
That one there. How is that one injured in any way, shape, or form?
I don't think it is. I'll just double check. No, it's not.
Right. Okay. Because I don't have to stand there.
That's true.
I can just move away from it.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here,
Okay.
and I'm going to shoot the one that's on Nicholas Marty.
Right you are. You move over there, and on your way past, you release a shot at Nicholas. Well, not at Nicholas, at the one that's attached to Nicholas.
Oh, I know my health's getting low, but I'm going my misery phase. Low.
Okay, 17. That's a hit, and for 19 points of damage, that's just turned it into a red mist as the shot goes straight through the centre of his thorax.
Splat.
Okay, so next up we have the other mosquito that's attacking Nicholas Marty. So let's make an attack.
I was hoping for stunts there.
Yes, and you could have tried shooting this one down as well. Oh, this one got stunts though. Isn't that nice?
No.
That's
So-
the role I should have had.
Yes, exactly. So Nicholas, it's skirmished you, and it has also skirmished itself. And attached. So it's attached to you as it's slurping down your juicy innards. So let's make a little marker to show that it's attached. It also kind of the force of its impact drives you. Well, it's actually going to sort of come round and attack from this flank to drive you back this way, and then follow you as well as it comes. So you've gone. You just managed to avoid falling over this log with the impact of the thing swarming you.
Yep.
It seems to be trying to maneuver you into the cover of this tree. So it seems to have enough awareness to know that out here they're being shot with twangy death sticks. And it seems to be trying to drag its meal, which is you, into cover so it can eat you without being, or drink you without being shot anymore. Hasn't quite managed to
really
do that.
bad. Eating me would be a punishment.
Oh dear. And it's the one attacking Tamara to go next. So a bite attack against Tamara. It can aim this time. 16 with 4 points of stunts. So it's going to attach as well. And what else does it want to do? It will knock her prone. So let me just pronate her and attach it. Thus. And let me roll the damage.
Oh, sorry, 2 ticks. Did you
5.
roll the damage for the one that attacked Nicholas?
Oh no, I didn't.
Just sign my own death warrant there.
Well, Nicholas only took 3 points of damage, but Tamara took 5. So
Yeah, Tamara took 1.
Tamara took 1, right? But it has attached and knocked her flat. So next up is this mosquito here that was attacking Alderaan, who then ran away. So that now makes...
Ran away?
strategically withdrew. From its point of view.
Maneuvered.
So it's going to look for another target, and its closest target is Tamara, so it's going to come in and attack her as well.
Bugger.
And no, it can't aim because it had to circle around. 13, is that a hit on Tamara?
Yes. Only just.
Okay. So it attacks her for 3 points of damage, so it just blunts its snout on her armor. Is it bzz, thunk?
You know those old cartoons where like something runs into a wall and just crumples.
Yes. That's pretty much what its nose looks like at the moment from just banging his face off her armor. Up next is Kerj Razor Claw to go.
Right, 2 questions. Firstly, the vines haven't moved at all.
Not yet, no.
Right. Second question is, once they're attached, is there are they less capable of defending themselves by the looks of things?
Yes, they lose their dexterity bonus, which means their defense goes from 13 to 10.
Okay, well, sending Quoth in to attack one that is attached.
Yes, okay. So Quoth circles round behind the one that's attached to Tamara, that's flat, like knocked her flat, and sort of drops down with his claws out, trying to gouge at its neck and head. Make an attack.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the scary music from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds plays.
That's a hit, so Quoth manages to sink his claws into the back of the creature. Roll for damage. Right you are. Raking with his claws and pecking at the back of its head. It's like peck, 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 peck. You can see blood emerge from the back of the creature. He hasn't managed to kill it, and its hide is quite tough, but he's certainly drawn blood and done some damage.
Okay.
Okay then, and it is...
It's Kerj's turn.
It's Kerj's turn, yes, sorry.
Yes. Right, okay, I can see that two of the party are down and have things attached to them.
Yeah.
Arcane Blast didn't do so well. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Mhm.
Greater beast form.
Right, you are. Okay. Drawing on your druidic energy, you can feel your muscles start to flex and change, your flesh changes tautness, your fur draws in. Which animal form would you like to change to?
I'll be changing to. I don't know if you've added it at the far end. Did you manage to find one?
I didn't, but I'm going to have
T-Rex.
another look.
Swap beast.
I can't see it in the lineup.
No, it's not in the lineup yet, but there should be a tiger in here. It just wouldn't load earlier when I tried to. I mean, if the worst comes to it, I'll load a thing me tiger if I have to. Hold on. Yep, that's just not loading again. That's really odd.
Is there a limit to the number that you can have? Or...
Nope, not with a pro account.
Yeah, because you can have a card deck with at least 52 cards in.
Yep.
I'm getting ready to eat some mosquitoes because they're great.
I've just attempted to load a different tiger, and that didn't load either. So I don't know what's going on here. Any minute now, we're going to wind up with a map swarming with tigers. It's going to be an entire fright of them just appears out of nowhere. Nope, that's 3 separate tigers I've tried to drag over, and none of them have appeared on the map for some reason. Let's try the snow tiger.
We're just gonna have the word tiger written in.
That's Snow Tiger.
Yeah. Okay, the snow tiger won't load across either, so I have absolutely no idea why the tigers aren't loading. So we'll just have to imagine Kerj is a tiger, which is a bit...
Not to worry.
okay.
Bit of mind's eye theatre.
Yeah,
I'll move Tiger Kerj towards where he's meant to be, and that is my that's my turn.
Yeah, so it's a major to cast the spell.
Yeah, that's right.
oddly enough, that I've just tried to load the saber-toothed tiger from my personal library, and that didn't load either, so... I am imagining there is a problem with Roll20 today then, if stuff's not
No
loaded
worries.
from the general library or from my
Racism.
personal library. So
Or-
sorry
or-
about
Anti-tiger
worries.
sentiment.
that. Anti-tiger sentiment, yeah. So anyway, yes, Kerj manages to change into the form of a tiger. What was he doing next, sorry?
Just coming up behind the
Right.
mosquito.
Padding through the mud, Tiger Kerj suddenly launches himself through the air and snaps at the. At the
I can't
mosquito.
attack.
You can't attack. No, you can't, because it would be a major.
I'm literally just walking up behind it.
And the freeze frame kicks in just as you're.
Mid-leap,
Yeah, mid-leap.
mid-pounce.
And we go over to the mosquito that's currently trying to. Oh, is that the dead one?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the dead one, so that comes off. So, Nicholas, you to go next.
Right, the next one that attached itself to me,
Yeah.
like a psychotic fan, is also getting an arcane blast in the face.
Right, you are.
Leave me alone, Stan!
Oh, and with
Nice.
6 points of stuns.
Oh,
There's a direct
yes.
hit from the arcane blast right in its face. 6 points of stunts as well.
I would like to mighty blow. Yes.
Spell.
Mighty spell.
And,
Was it blow?
arcane
No.
blast is
Yes, mighty blow. Yeah.
Gimme bone.
Same
That's
thing.
yeah, right. I've managed to lose my stunt thing. How many?
Two-
What does that add again?
5. 5 costs 5 for that. And
Yeah,
it adds
it
2 dice.
Cast
Hang
5
on,
points.
are you talking mighty or lethal?
Lethal
Lethal.
blow would be 2 dice. a
Yeah,
dice.
lethal. Yeah, sorry.
You want to do that one?
Lethal's the one for 5. Yeah.
No. Right. I need to know how many dice it adds. It's 2 dice.
2
Two.
dice.
Two, yeah.
Oh right.
Right. Doo-doo-doo.
Okay, so that's I take. Is that the with the 2 dice added?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
That
Oh,
wasn't a very good roll, was it?
it wasn't a
Gotta
terribly
be
good
ones
roll. It
in
was a
there.
touch disappointing. However, Not so disappointing that the blast doesn't completely evaporate the mosquito into just a red mist. Well, insect blood isn't red, so just a mist of some of your blood and some of its, and then it's just
Lemon curd.
nothing but 2 wings left of it when when the blasts pass through.
It got me!
Nicholas Marty picks up the wings, puts them on his back, and shouts, "I'm a leprechaun, fairy, pixie."
Did you almost just call him Nicholas Farty there?
Almost, yeah.
So, Tamara to go.
Swamp gas.
Who's going
Sorry,
to
who's
operate
doing Tamara
tomorrow?
this round?
Yeah, you can since you spoke first.
Sure. I'd lost track of who was doing it this round. Is she still grappled by one as well?
Yes, she is, and she's still lying
Well-
prone.
Her strength is a hell of a lot stronger than mine. Does that mean I can make a strength roll against it?
Yes, you can.
Cool.
Oh, that was an unusually poor roll for her, though. So she's only got 10.
She got strength might.
Yeah,
And she doesn't have might.
Doesn't have
She
might,
just
okay.
has climbing.
well,
that
yes, she
would-
is quite a good climber. So, strength of 10, strength roll of 10. Let's match that against the insect. 8. So,
Yes.
now that counts as an activate action. So she's grabbed it, ripped it off. That's a minor action. She still has a major action to go if she wants.
Okay. Well, was she using the long sword before? Yeah, she
Yes,
was.
she was. The
So
giant
what
killer
needed to
longsword.
change.
Yeah.
So she's gonna slice it in half.
Right, you are. So having grabbed it and torn it off, she then brings the sword down across its body. Hopefully, 19. That's a hit. Roll the damage.
Absolutely.
And yep, slices it completely in 2. Foop, just falls apart right in front of her, and she turns her attention to the next one for next round. Before that, however, it is Alderaan to go, so the chances are there won't be a next one next round.
I'm going to shoot it with an arrow, I think.
Right, you are. Knocking an arrow, you take a shot at the last of these flying creatures.
There it is. Oh.
12, that's a hit, because you're attacking it from behind and it's focusing its attention on somebody else.
And I haven't moved yet. I really need to start using aim.
Aim, yes. Okay, 11 damage, so that's, let me think, 9 comes off its total. That's
Hold on,
minus
just
9.
quick check.
Mhm.
Add another one.
Another 1 damage, yes, because it's within
Yeah,
range.
and it goes 2 yards across to the other side.
Okay, so the force of the blow blasts it right the way over there, through the air, sort of tumbling through the air over over Quoth, who's busily pecking the eyes out of the dead mosquito.
Yummy.
Okay, so that mosquito's dead, that mosquito's dead, and that mosquito's very much going to need a morale test. So it's going to need 13 or better to continue to fight. 10, nope. That one's off. Really doesn't care what the
Buzz
Valley
off.
Master has to say about the whole situation. It's buzzing off, yes.
Right, go shoot it before it escapes.
Yes, you can, yeah. The range you've got, you can get a shot off at it before it can get away.
Right, well, I'll do that then.
In fact, we can always run another chase with it running from you now, if you like.
If we're still in turn order, has Alderaan just gone?
I went, it went.
Yeah,
It's
so
your
it's
go.
Kerj to go next.
Then, as a tiger, I'll chase it down.
Yes, okay. So we are entering another chase with you chasing it now then.
Well, my
Until-
speed is 15. Do I
Only
actually
the
have
yeah, in that case, before it gets off the battle map,
Yeah.
you'd have caught it, so it will continue it as a combat.
Okay.
So, yeah. Kerj bounds up after the thing, leaps through the air, the oddly second time, and attempts to bring his jaws closed on it. Make a roll.
Can I make that a charge as well?
No, because you'd be travelling more than half your
Fair enough.
You might not be, actually. Let me just measure. So you'd be coming from there to there. That would be 8. It's really touching. Go on, I'm going to give you the charge, yes.
Okay, thank you. Right.
'Cause
So
half your speed would be 7.5, and it was 8
Yep.
meters. So yeah, it's right on the cusp. I'm going to allow it.
and does that add +1 to your attack, yeah?
+1 to your attack, yes.
It's not just on the cusp; it's on the bicuspid.
Yes.
Right. So my normal attack roll would be 6.
Mhm.
So that's 7 on the charge.
Yep.
And I'm attacking with claws. So I make 2 of these because I'm a tiger.
Yes.
Do I get the charge on both of them or only one?
That's a good question.
It would be both.
Both, I think.
Okay.
Because it's to the attack roll
Yeah.
that you make.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here's the first one.
21, that's a hit. And with 5 points of stunts as well.
Okay, here's the second one.
And that's also a hit, but without stunts.
Right. Now for the stunts,
Mhm.
I can do lethal blow and lightning attack for 1 point fewer.
Right, yeah.
So
For each of them.
Yes.
Yes.
They're each one less. The
Yeah.
problem
Yeah.
with lethal blow is it's 5 goes down to 4,
Yes.
and lightning attack would be 3 down to 2, so you would need 6.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I can do both
Oh,
this
right,
time
okay.
around on this many points. I'm just like stating the rule because it's the first
Yeah,
time out.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably going to be dead anyway. So just to because this was a point of contention,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a lightning attack.
Right, yes, so you get one
So-
more attack. Yeah.
One more, and is that with the charge or without?
That's without.
That's without, right?
That
okay,
can
so
be a
that's-
bite if you want, though, instead of a. Doesn't have to be, but it can be.
Oh, right.
Does the tiger have a bite attack, or is it
It
just
does.
claws?
Oh, it certainly does. Yes. Okay. In that case, I'll make that a bite attack just
Yeah.
to have a go of it.
Yeah.
So the bite is a +5. There's that.
That's a hit.
Right. And okay, now I'm going to start rolling damage.
Right, this is going to be fun.
So 2d6 + 4
Okay.
for the first claw attack.
So with your first claw, you swipe the creature out of the air. It hits the ground with its side gashed open, insect blood gouting out of it. Roll the damage for the second paw. The second paw, you slam the paw down on the creature's back, pinning it to the ground. So exactly like a cat would, it uses one paw to knock the creature out of the air, the second paw to pin it, and then it lunges in with its bite attack. Roll the damage for the bite.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I have just realised I've rolled 2 bites there.
Okay. No,
That's my bad.
Okay.
These should have been 1d6 + 5, not 2d6 + 4.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take the first dice in each instance and add 1 to the total. So you did 6 with the first hit, which still knocked it out the air
Yep.
and winded it. It hit the ground with 1 hit point left. The second paw then slammed down on its back and broke its back. And then you lunged in with the actual bite. So go ahead and make a bite damage as
Right.
well.
So this is the actual bite roll at this
Yeah,
point.
although it is actually dead now anyway. But,
Good.
And with the bite, you tear its head off. So you whack it out the air, pin it with one paw, rip its head clean off. Which, as
And
any
then
cat
spit
owner
out the
will
bits.
know, is pretty much exactly how.
Just on a
Peace
much
loving druid! Don't cross the peace loving druid!
Well, you see, if you were still in druid form, you might have been more peace loving, but as a tiger,
It's an
you were like,
apex
ooh,
predator.
fly thing, swat, splat, bite.
It's like a feather on a string.
Yes, that's exactly what my cat does to her feathers on a string.
I'm very peaceful, but I've got plenty of forms that aren't.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so all of the insects are now dead, and this is the round that I would have been activating the thingies. Let me just get rid of
Vines.
the vines. Thank you. Let me just get rid of the insect corpses so I can see what I'm doing.
Throw the corpses to the vines to keep them off us.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can do. So this
Um,
vine needs to be added to the thingy.
What I would suggest is we head over to wrong direction.
Okay, that's
This
interesting.
spot over here.
You know, I mentioned earlier that it looked like Roll20 was having some
You did.
issues because it wouldn't bring things to the table. Well,
Yep.
it's now not letting me open any of the Games Master's handouts.
Ah.
Do you want to go out and come back in again?
So I'm going to attempt a... Yes, I will. I can keep talking because obviously we're not using Roll20 to handle the speech, because we've tried that
I would
before. We know how that works.
Or doesn't.
Or doesn't, exactly. So that's me logged back in. This is where I log back in, and there's tigers everywhere. Don't see any.
That would be
actually.
neat.
But my handouts.
Do you really
have
love those
reappeared.
tiger feet?
I do.
So that does seem to have fixed that problem, because it means all of my handouts have reappeared where they disappeared earlier. So
I would suggest everybody heads up towards where Kerj is, across Nicholas Marty, and then
hanging vines.
Hold
away
on, I
from
need
the
to zoom in.
vines.
I'm just going to pop my master handout out and onto a spare screen. Okay. The hell happened there? All right, I see. I pressed the wrong button is what happened
We
there.
don't.
Well, I pressed the right button, but I hit it twice, so instead it just collapsed the thing.
Oops.
Okay, so hanging vine and the hanging vine's disappeared again. Oh no, I seem to have sent the hanging vine over here. What am I doing today? Right. And initiative added. Where's the next hanging vine? Oh god, now I can't find them. One here.
One there. One there.
I don't like how close to me that one is.
One of them is very close to you, yes. What a shame. I'm still missing one. Ah, there it is. And hanging vine initiative. Okay, so I'm going to reorder this lot. And as Kerj's tiger form brings down the last of the insects, these slumbering vines that have been kind of waking up have finally, I say finally, it's only been like 30 seconds, entered the fray. So, Alderaan to act first. What would you like to do?
Right.
Actually, we should probably carry on down from Kerj, shouldn't we, really? Would be a more sensible way of doing it. So, it's this vine, and I think that's equidistant between Marty and Tamara. So let me just have a look.
Quick
Marty,
question:
you
why
are
does the vine get to go before Marty? Is that just the turntable order?
It is just the turntable order, but actually I suspect Marty's dexterity is going to be higher, so Marty should probably act first. So Marty, what would you like to do? You
Run
can
away!
See the, yeah, go for it.
He says, right, hang on. Boop, 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 boop. Just need to check my speed. Oh. Oh, yeah. Now over here.
Right you are. So that kind of solves the question about who's closest to the hanging vine. It's very definitely going to be Tamara now. But that's one minor action that you've moved over there. So what would you like to do with your major action?
No, behind stuff and I can't get it.
Sorry, Louise, you're breaking up quite badly there. Could you say again?
I said, how tall are these trees and stuff between me and it?
Okay, this one here and
Yeah.
these two over here are over 6 foot. These
Okay.
little ones here are much lower. They're more bushes than trees.
Okay, could I have made attack while I was on the move?
Do you have tactical
Oh, she could-
awareness?
No.
No,
You could shoot first and then move.
You
that's
can,
a good point.
you can shoot first and then move. It would be your only option because you're not going to be able
Yeah,
to
I'll-
shoot while moving.
I'll do that. I'm not going to move back because I can't quite remember the square I'm on and I'd
No,
have
that's
to
fine.
recount.
That's fine. We know where you're going, so
But you know
Uh,
what I'm doing.
yeah, you
So
were
I was-
within 3 meters of the target when you started because I'd already measured. So.
I fired an arcane blast and then ran for the hills.
Okay, so you fire an arcane blast, make an attack roll with your arcane
Yeah,
blast.
there.
And that's a hit. Roll the damage.
Oh, blimey. This is unusual, all these hits.
The
Rubbish
vines
damage,
have
though.
only got a defense of 10, and it's done no damage to it at all. Its bark is slightly darkened by the impact, and that's literally all that's happened. So the hanging vine is now going to come after you. It's faster than you think. And I think you've not run far enough away. Let me just check.
Does it help in any way that as this is going on, I am singing the Vines song "Get Free"?
It doesn't, no.
Damn.
It simply
Yes,
enrages the vine who's decided that you're taking a piss.
It's that what's it, bard in Viva la Dirt League.
Yes. So the vine slides over to you. That's its. Yeah. Sorry, you're in its maximum range. So if you'd gone even one square further, it couldn't hit you.
Oh, curse my little feet!
And that is 12. Is that a hit?
Yeah.
Is it really? Okay. And it's going to
Oh
do
no,
a.
hang on. No, yeah, it is.
It is. So with its 2 stunts, it's going to do a vine grab. Hanging vine has a special stunt. It grabs foes for 2 stunt points, which is what it got. The hanging vine wins an opposed strength test. The target cannot move. Okay, so let me do the damage first. 6 points of damage. Armor protects as normal. We now need a opposed strength might test from the pair of you. And you need to beat the
Better be
vine's
We
12.
fine. This isn't happening. Oh my god!
You
Okay.
beat it.
You beat it, yeah. So, you manage, as it tries to wrap around you, you in your sort of panic, your strength is enough to burst the vine's grip on you, and you slither out of it like a bar of soap when you're in the shower type of thing, straight out the top.
I'm gonna get free.
Okay, so
Get clean away.
the next hanging vine is... I can't find the one that's lighting up, which means
That
it's
one
gotta
which is
be
down to the
this one
south.
right at the bottom, hasn't it? It's too far away from anybody to have a viable target, so it's just going to sit there. It'll extend
sulk.
itself a bit, but yeah, it's largely just going to sulk.
So nobody ever comes to visit me. No.
This vine up here is the next one. And Tamara is 1 meter further away from it than Alderaan is, so it's coming for Alderaan. Slithers out, sort of slithering along the ground in an attempt to grab the elf. It will make an attack. It will make an attack.
At some point.
Okay, and now the dice roll is not rolling. God, some days. Oh, wait a minute. That's because it's asking me if it's aiming. No. Let me just turn aim off for that. What did it get? Oh, 22 was 6 stun points. Okay. So the first 2 stun points it's going to use to attempt to vine grab you. However, it's also going to... It can mighty blow for 1, so it's going to do that. And it's going to knock you prone as well. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still got 1 more stunt point. So it's also going to drag you a bit closer. So 1, 2.
Well, no.
Mhm.
No. It's not going to do that yet.
Right. Why not?
Because it can't drag me if it hasn't got hold of me.
Yes, it can. It's a skirmish stunt.
Ah. It can move me.
It can
flip
move,
me,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it can't drag me.
Well, yes, it can drag you, because that's how you would explain a skirmish. Oh, fuck's sake. Skirmish stunt. Whether or not it can keep hold of you after it's dragged you, that's the question. So let's
Fair
do
enough.
the damage first.
Narrative rationale for the rolls.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would just be teleporting you. That's 8 damage. So it grabs you by the leg, drags you across the floor, but you're kind of hopping at the moment because it didn't think to... Oh no, it did knock you prone. So I will knock you prone. So it's dragged you across the floor. In the process, however, you're thrashing and attempting to get out. So let's make that a opposed strength test now to see if you got out
Is
before it.
Is it just opposed strength? You can't
You
use
can
dexterity.
Let me double check.
Because usually
Yes, you
things
can.
like that.
You can. You can use dexterity if your dexterity is higher. So yes, you go ahead and use your dexterity. So it's definitely not got a hold of you then. So
Well, even if I'd used strength, it wouldn't have had hold of me.
yeah, so it managed to grab you long
Dice
enough
roll
to
beats
drag
it.
you across the floor. And I realise I've put the knock prone on the vine instead of you, so I'll just move it out of the way.
Is the vine not just prone anyway?
The vine is prone anyway, yes. They literally can't be
hang on.
knocked prone because of that.
Hang on, though, or is it supine? It's like, how would you tell?
Yes, there we go. So it grabbed you by the leg, dragged you across very painfully, ripping flesh from you as it went. I gave you the damage, didn't I? Yes, 8 points of damage.
Just a
And
scratch.
as it's getting you closer to where it wants you, you manage to work your way free. Even I'm having trouble speaking today. So it is Tamara to go next. She's still prone at the moment. She can use a movement action, which would take half of her movement to stand up,
Yeah,
and then
she's
she'll
definitely
still
going to get
have
up.
the other half. Sorry?
She's definitely going to get up, yes.
Definitely going to get up, okay. So she's still got half of her movement, and that's a minor action. So she's still got a major action and half of her movement to use.
Right, then we'll get up to here, and we will try to cut off that vine at the roots.
Right you are. She's going to slice at that vine at the roots before it can do Marty any further harm. Roll to hit. Okay, that's a hit. Go ahead and roll the damage. 7 points of damage. So, oops, it is. Actually, that'll do. That's 5. 4. 4 gets through. Okay, so she slices down on the vine, which is much tougher than she'd imagine. Well, I think she struck them before, so much tougher than she'd hope. But she manages to bite into the vine a bit. It's just like an axe against a tree. It's going to take multiple blows to get through.
Yep.
But you've cut a little bit out of it, so you've made a start. And that's Tamara done. So it's Alderaan to go. He's still prone, but he's not gripped. So what would he like to do?
I'm going to stand up for a start.
Okie dokie. I'll just take that prone marker off you. Go ahead.
And then... Oh, no. How fast can I move through this land?
It's half speed because it's quite muddy.
Right, okay. So I'm now there.
Which I think
And
we
then
might have
I'll-
forgot to apply against Tamara, but never mind. That was my mistake, so we'll let it stand.
And then I'll do a run move
Yes, of course.
from there.
Which would be a major action. Right, you are. So you're up to over by where Kerj is, which takes you out of the immediate danger. And it is Kerj, you to go.
Yep. Still as a tiger,
Still as a tiger.
and bearing in mind whatever movement penalty there may be.
Yes, so
Uh,
it's half
um,
movement on this terrain.
Right. So, speed of 15. Can I get to that vine to where Tamara is?
I imagine so. Let me just measure. So 15 would take you down to 7.5. It's 7 meters away, so yes, you can.
Right. Is Nicholas currently ensnared?
Nicholas
Nope.
is not currently ensnared, no.
Right.
Slipped out like a dark, slippery thing.
Oh yeah, the whole bar of soap thing. Right. So, really, other than us sort of persecuting this vine any further in its natural habitat, we could just get away.
Yes.
Mm,
Are you
Problem.
sympathising with the thing that's trying to kill me again?
I think it's a complete waste of resources to continue trying to fight something when we can just move on.
You do move a hell of a lot faster than a vines, let's be honest.
Yeah.
The problem you've got is Tamara's within striking distance of 2 vines.
Yes. Yes.
And she's going to go after them.
Yeah, good point.
Okay.
So if she doesn't get caught,
Oops,
she
it
can
is.
get away.
Picking up the mosquito body from that I've just killed and ripped apart,
Yes.
I'm going to throw that onto the vine.
Okay, go for it. Make a accuracy roll then.
Oh god, now that must be Tiger's accuracy. Accuracy 3. I am using my mouth. I've got the skill of bite. So do I count the focus for that?
No, because that's more sort of.
That's
No,
fine.
you don't, because that would
Okay.
a bite would come under fighting rather than accuracy. So,
Okay.
however, you're not going to need it. So bits of the insects slam into the ground right in front of Marty. Just I say slam them or kind of splat.
Mm-hmm.
The vine is completely distracted by that and sort of grabs the bits of the insect and starts sinking the needle-like protrusions into that.
With that, I roar and start to walk away.
Right you are. You roar and start to walk away. So it will be Nicholas Marty to go next.
I'm going to continue with my incredibly brave plan of following Kerj.
Right you are.
You just want great lager, don't you?
Huh?
You're following the bear. No, oh, it's a tiger though.
Yeah.
Flying
Change
Tiger
plans,
is
change
lager
plans.
as well.
Pardon me. I currently seem to be on the wrong layer. That's why everything looks a bit ghostly to me. Okay. So you're making good your withdrawal. The vine there has currently been distracted by eating what's left of the thing. So there's the vine over down there, which is too far away to do anything. This vine here is going to have a bit of a slither out towards Tamara in an attempt to attack her. So let's make a vine attack. And the answer to that question is no. 15, does that hit Tamara?
I think it does, but let me just check. Yeah, it does. Only just.
Well, it's instead of grabbing around the waist like it's wanted to, it's managed to slap her in the back instead. So that's
Ah!
8 points of damage, but it hasn't grabbed her.
4 points of damage.
And it is Tamara to go.
Well, Tamara's gonna think that's pretty rude and wheel round and sword it.
Okay, so her major action is an attack against the vine.
Yep.
Roll
I'm
hit.
not using aim because I'm gonna try and move away.
Yeah, that's a hit. Roll the damage. 13 damage. So it's 10 gets past its tough bark. So she's put a massive great gash down the side, like into it, hacked right in, taken chunks out of it, and you said she was going to move, so make a movement of up to half her speed away from it. Then.
God, she's slow.
Yeah.
And I hope not covered in leeches now.
That pulls a little bit. shallow. So I'm going to. Well, that doesn't matter with leeches actually. They like shallow, so she might be.
She's wearing boots. Though,
She's
isn't
wearing boots
That's
and she's
true.
wearing a lot of heavy armor, so I think the leeches are going to have the same problem as the mosquitoes had, which is getting through the armor. So I don't think she needs to worry about it too much. She might need to worry about her armor rusting if she doesn't oil it properly the next day, of course. But for now, I think she's okay. So that's Alderaan to go.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll attempt to shoot at this vine because that one's now out of range.
Yes.
So shoot this one.
Okay, go for it.
The one that's currently distracted eating a mosquito.
That's the one.
Yeah. That one.
Okay, so knocking an arrow, you loose it off at the vine, hitting the bit that Tamara's kind of exposed with the blow she hit it with the sword. Roll the damage. 17 damage. So
I take it it's got a low dexterity.
oh yeah. 10. Sorry, 0. Its defense is 10. Its dexterity is 0. Fucked. I think its dexterity might be lower than 0. It is. Yeah. So you've hit it. You've done 14 damage. Past its bark. So take 14 off there. Actually, that wasn't the one Tamara hit, but you've still hit it anyway. So quite a bit of damage to it. I've somehow managed to type.
Well, she hit both of them anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so that's. There we go. Okay, that was your major action. Do you have a minor action you'd like to take?
I aimed.
You aimed, yes, you did. Okay, Kerj, you continuing to walk away?
Yes.
Okay. You pad off through the marsh. Pad, splash, splash, splash. And it's Nicholas Marty to go.
I'm gonna continue to follow Kerj,
Okay.
whilst apologising profusely for thinking that the marsh would be the easier plan.
Believe
You
it.
were right. I'm
No.
sorry.
Believe it or not, the marsh is vastly easier than the other routes.
Well, he doesn't know that.
No, you don't. It appears very hard, and the marsh is only easier than the other route if the Valley Huntsman's still going, which he is, because he attacks so often, just throws so much stuff out. If you'd taken the other route before you killed the Valley Huntsman, you'd have had a lot of trouble. But there is no easy way in the valley, to be honest, until you start to take out some of the
It
major.
was the easiest way in the
actors.
valley.
Yes, quite. Okay, so you're all able to outwalk the the very slow and slightly distracted vines, and make your way back into. Well, you're still in the marsh. You're a bit further down now. You're sort of here-ish. I can close that. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I will leave the mic, like your mics, going through to the broadcast so that if you're making plans and whatnot, the listeners can tell what they are. So bear that in mind. And I'll be back in a couple of minutes. You can make your plans for what you're going to be doing next.
I would suggest maybe a healing spell.
Yeah,
somebody?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna nip off as well for a sec, but yeah, I really need to heal.
And first aid for everyone. If we have first aid ability.
Well, I think anybody can try it. Can try it, but I don't think any of us have the focus.
Does anybody have a healing kit?
Actually, I've got 2 healing potions.
All right, okay.
I'm going to go grab some food.
It's just me. Are you back? No, anybody?
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I've been back for a little bit, but I was just talking to my husband. And you didn't need us talking about Belgian waffles in the background because it didn't relate to the game.
I'm back.
Belgian waffles.
Yeah. So yeah,
We're heading to the shaping school, yeah?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, because we were going to go across the marsh and then use the trees as cover and around.
Yeah, okay.
Like, across here and then up there, I believe, was the plan.
Somewhere in here should be Melora's old home.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
What happened to that?
I wonder if it's worth investigating. Can't imagine she would have left anything decent behind.
Ignore that second line.
Okay. Let's go.
Is someone in a tent?
No. But I do have a inflatable mattress.
That was like a tent, is it?
Mm.
It would behoove me in future to turn my mic back on before I start talking. I do apologise for that. I've been talking for a while going, these guys haven't even stopped talking to one another while I'm speaking. How rude. Then I realised you had no idea. Right, okay, so defeated by technology again. So, yes, you're slightly off your original planned path because of the flight from the attacking insects and the second flight from the slithering vines. However, you're not that far off your planned route, and you're approximately in the dead centre of the Oxbow Lake and Marsh area. How ominous could that possibly be? What would you all like to do?
Can we see Melora's old house anywhere?
Yeah.
Make a perception searching roll then, please.
Could I use seeing?
No, it'll have to be searching for this one.
Okay.
Or nothing at all. I mean, you can use just perception, but the same.
Oh, okay. Oh, tomorrow's good searching.
Right. Okay, well, you're all searching the area, excuse me, for any signs of a past structure or house of some kind. None of you are able to find anything indicative of any kind of structure in the marsh. No house or hut on chicken legs, none of that.
No, that's not where she would live. She slept in a kind of bush or hedge that was growing up a lattice.
Yes.
So look for
like
the same
either.
kind of hedge that she had in the skull of seeing.
Right, there's plenty of that kind of plant although they're not obviously without the support of the lattice that placed up against the inside of the skull. There's nothing holding it up, so they just kind of they tend to collapse a bit after they get to a certain weight. There's nothing indicative, to you at least, of any kind of home that you might have had. No.
The home to a fae or dryad
Well,
would be a very different concept to.
it would be an entirely different concept, so it might be that you're not seeing it because you're looking for just the wrong thing entirely. It might be, I mean, if she's a dryad, she might literally just be able to live in a tree.
Yeah.
And I mean that as in just fuse into the tree rather than, build a house in one. So you're not finding anything that looks like it, but that doesn't mean to say it's not here. It's just you're not sure you know what you're looking for.
Okay, we'll push on then, yeah?
Okay.
I need to heal.
Ah, right, okay. So, first thing...
I really seriously need to heal.
Okay, so first things first, let's do a breather for everybody. So that is 5 plus your level plus your constitution. You all get that back to begin with.
Okay.
As you find somewhere relatively safe, or as safe as it gets in this valley anyway, to take a drink of your water, to catch your breath, to have a bit of a sit down, a bit of a rest, and just kind of regroup your thoughts. How's everybody doing damage-wise after that?
I'm now on about half.
I'm full.
Yeah.
So Nicholas is still going to need medical attention, though.
Yeah.
Tamara's going to get 10 plus a constitution back.
Okie dokie.
From what it was, I think she was down to something like 47.
43.
43, right? So, yeah. So she'd be on, what, plus 10? That'd mean 53 plus, I don't know what a con is.
That would put her on 54.
Okay.
Okay. It's not too bad.
Oh, she's looking pretty good because her max is like 57.
Yeah.
And somebody could do first aid on her to boost
Yeah,
that.
if somebody wants to first aid her, I will do my healing waters on me.
I've got intelligence 3. If
Yeah, go for it.
If you'll let us do it without the healing focus.
Anybody
Oh,
can
yes.
do
Yeah.
healing.
Anybody can do a first...
Has somebody brought a healing kit though?
Let me check my inventory.
Marty
I think
normally
I
carries
might.
a couple.
Yeah, didn't the Company of Light give us all of their stuff?
They gave us a whole load of
They
potions.
give you a lot of potions.
Okay.
Mage potions especially.
No, I do not appear to have a healing kit,
Okay.
which
Right.
is
Well,
strange.
you can use anything you can make bandages with. So you can actually use strips of your own clothing if need be. So you're going to have to
There's got to
cut...
be some decent moss around here.
There's some moss around here. Whether or not it's decent is an entirely different question. But you can certainly cut strips of your own clothing into bandages. It just means that you're going to probably have to invest in some more... Well, say your cloak. You're going to have to invest in a new cloak once you get out of here, because you're kind of cutting it into tatters in order to provide yourself with some bandages.
You could just have one of those like fashionable lower torn edges, like torn jeans, ripped
Yeah,
jeans.
yeah. It's all the rage these days. It's what all the kids are wearing.
This is Kerj's cloak we're talking about, not mine.
I was actually going to... Well, somebody's, yeah. Tomorrow.
Someone's got a nice hat there.
Get off my hat!
So, Kerj just passed, and that was for Kerj. Who were you doing your healing on?
That was tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right. Okay, so you've got 2 on your stun dice, so it's 2 plus your intelligence plus your level.
+3, +5.
Plus 3 plus 5, so that's 10. So Tamara gets
Yes.
another 10 hit points back.
That's it, I'm full health.
And did Nicholas say? Did you say that Nicholas was just going to use healing waters?
Yeah,
Right,
well, healing waters, mate.
Oh, we're saving the healing potions.
I didn't know we had any left.
I've got 2.
Oh well, yeah, we must do, but right, we've got 2
Oh,
left. Yeah,
can
okay.
save
It
them.
makes sense to use them to keep them for like if somebody
Yeah.
gets really low in a battle or
Mhm.
something. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've
Or
got
when
4
you're-
stun points there.
Yes. So I'm just checking to see what that thing is again. 3d6.
Yeah.
And you're missing something because that didn't add up, did it?
4, 8, 12, 13. No, it didn't.
It'll
'Cause it
be
should
my
have been,
water arcana.
yeah, it should have been 13 in total.
Yeah.
It's still 4 points of stuns.
Yeah. It's still a pass anyway.
It's a better pass, in point of fact.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, so roll the amount you've healed and decide.
Can I
what you're
keep
using
the
stuns on.
studs as extra?
Yes, I'll
like-
allow you to do that. Yeah.
Benson and Hedges.
Pretty good, actually.
What the Harmony Hairsprays is going on?
Okay, so is that Nicholas Marty back up to a respectable
Yeah,
amount?
that's actually. Yeah, that's full now.
So, after a brief rest and some minor casting and some first aid attention to one another, the Wilderness Wanderers are once again back on their travels and largely healthy now. Making your way through the marsh, if you just erase the lines that you had drawn on and draw on new ones for the route you will now be taking, because since you're slightly off your original.
Oh, I better move it before I kill it.
Yes.
Otherwise, I might kill the token again.
How do
That's
I
right, yes.
erase a
You
line?
can just click on it,
Yeah.
highlight it, and it highlights it, and then you should be able to press the delete button.
Yeah.
It should get rid of it.
Oh, neat. Neat.
But you've got to make sure you don't capture anything else in the.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
that'll go with it as well. Yeah. That's how we lost the original party movement token. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to draw your new route, or even just move yourselves 2 squares, and I'll see if you pass through anything you need to worry about.
I take it we're going to go to this space here.
Yeah.
I think so. That makes sense.
I'll do that. Sort
Yeah.
of
Moving
point.
through the marsh, you're still kind of fighting your way through the sucking mud and splashing through the puddles, but you notice that it's getting drier, so the mud's not as deep as it was, not as thick as it was. The amount of marshy pools are thinning out, and slowly but surely the ground is becoming more and more solid, and the trees are becoming larger and more overgrown. Can I have a perception seeing or perception healing roll from everybody? Hearing roll from everybody, please. You can choose which one to make, but you can only make one or the other.
Right. If somebody else, I know some of us have seeing. But
I've got seeing.
yeah, I think I'm the only one with hearing, so
I think that's
Yeah.
right. I think you are. Yes.
I'll do hearing.
Tamara doesn't have either.
No.
beat everybody.
She's got searching. She's got searching though, which none of the rest of us have.
Yes. Also, she mostly handles hitting and stuff and climbing things.
Perception killing.
You've got to be able to see the stuff to hit it.
That's true. Yeah.
Unless you've got blind fighting.
I mean, our perception's quite passable anyway. It's just got quite a good.
So the talent of blind fighting, that's you know those Venetian blinds.
Yes.
You're skilled at opening and closing those.
Okay, what you seem to be aware of is that the sound of insects, especially giant insects, is becoming less common as you're starting to come out onto the more solid ground. You can
Good.
hear the sound of animals, but they are at a distance. And those of you who are passing seeing rules notice that there's nothing much for you to notice. There's nothing hiding in the trees. There's nothing lurking, waiting to ambush you. There's no trails around here, so the animals seem to largely give this part of the valley woods a pass, possibly because it's coming a bit too close to that dangerous swamp area, which is dangerous to them as well as to everyone else, whereas a lot of the rest of the valley, they are the danger. What Kerj notices from his hearing, though, is that further away you can hear animals of various types. You can hear barks and moos and howls and whatnot, and you can occasionally hear a human voice. When what you're pretty sure is going on, that's somewhere to the northeast of you, is a fairly extensive search being carried out.
Ah. Okay, so
Be very, very quiet.
Yeah,
feeding that back to the group. They're searching for us.
yes,
So,
you would think so.
am I still in tiger form?
What's the duration on it? Does it say
It's to the encounter, I believe.
encounter? Then no, you're not.
Right.
I will have dropped my mosquito illusion by now.
You will have dropped your mosquito illusion by now.
But I am presumably covered in mud, so I guess I'll stand out less.
You're a touch more camouflaged, yes.
That was deliberate, clearly.
Of course it was, yes. Okay, so you can press on.
Actually,
sorry, go ahead.
where is duration?
It would be. Let me just have a look on those character sheets.
I think mine tells me in the description of the spell.
Okay.
Like lesser beast form, you can transform into a moderate threat beast of your choice. Bear, tiger, wolf. At the Games Master's option, you can transform into a moderate version of a minor threat, adding 1 to any abilities. Two focuses.
Which book's Minor Beast from? The
It's
rules
in
of
the companion.
Companion. Let me just take a look at the companion entry for it then. So it will be down a bit.
I've assumed encounter. I'm not actually seeing the word.
Right. Okay. Let me just take a quick look and I'll see
Yeah.
what I
All
think.
of mine that have a time limit on them, it mentions in the description rather than like in any of the other bits.
Right. Yeah. So it is a new spell for the Beast Arcana or a new Arcana? New Arcana. There we go. So Beast Arcana, page 42. And Beast Senses, Beast Summoning, Power of the Wild, Beast Speech, Charm Beasts, Lesser Beast Form. Here we go. So requirements, spell type, magic. Oh, that's a lot of points. So major action. You can actually take on the form of a beast, scaling all its physical abilities. You transform into a minor threat beast of your choice. Blah 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 blah. See the Fantasy Age Bestiary for examples. Blah blah blah. You retain your own intelligence and willpower, which we knew, and gain all the beast's other abilities, which we also knew. You gain the beast's perception and health, or retain your own if they are higher. You cannot use your own physical or class abilities while in beast form, including casting other spells. Any carried or held equipment disappears, melding into your own form, and is unusable until you resume your normal form again. And you're quite right, there's absolutely nothing to suggest what to...
And only one further point to what you said there. You said, oh, that's a lot of magic points.
Yes,
You've just read through
which
the
would
lesser beast form. I cast greater, which is 5 more.
Oh god, right, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Greater beast form, so you did. So I will reread, see if it implies anything there. No. Okay, so considering the massive magic point costs that we're talking about here, I suspect that the it's definitely not per encounter. It's too costly to be something that you can only do per encounter. It doesn't actually give me a finite time limit, so I would say that's until you decide to turn back.
Grand, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, my illusionary guise is an hour, and that's only 3 magic points.
Yes.
And I know it's, different, but...
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The beast form does give you sort of actual physical advantages that the illusionary form doesn't. but it also comes with disadvantages in that all your equipment disappears. So the only rationale for such a massive hit on your magic points would be that that lasts, I would say, until you decide to turn back or take a full rest, i.e. sleep.
I do think that when some spells have a duration, that duration should be there for everything,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it should be stated. You know, it's like
Yeah, make it nice and clear. Yeah.
exactly, and it should say duration at will. If there's no actual time cost to it.
Yeah, it would make it easier than a games master having a rule every time. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because of the massive hit involved and the fact that it doesn't mention a duration, that it will be until you choose to turn back or until you sleep.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about until you sleep, but for now we'll go with that. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to press on in another 2 squares, you can move, and I'll tell you.
The only downside to the unless you sleep aspect would be, and this is purely from like a sort of role playing, possibly problem solving thing somewhere down the line, would be if I wanted to dream the way an animal dreams or something like that. If there was some kind of some sort of sleep related plot line.
Yes, yeah. I'll put some thought into about whether or not I'm going to allow you to continue to be an animal as you sleep. Because I kind of like the idea of you like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep as a tiger. Just curl up as a tiger. If a fight breaks out in the middle of the night because we get ambushed, they have ambushed a tiger.
Or because the rest of the party are sick of the tiger snores.
How can anyone ever get sick of tiger snores?
That's purring, that's not snoring.
That's purring. I don't know. As a cat owner who has had a cat who has a very definite snoring issue,
there is an important meta issue here as well, that I can actually turn into a house cat. I think at which point I just gain complete plot armor. For that reason, I haven't done it.
I have to admit, as a massive cat lover myself, you probably would, because I just couldn't bring myself to hurt a house cat, even an imaginary house cat.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I might struggle with a tiger, to be honest. And I still can't get the tokens to load across.
Well, there was a thing I was going to suggest, because it would work better for me from a like a character perspective, if you would be prepared to do like a 1-for-1 swap, tiger for bear.
Right.
Then it gets around the issue of you not wanting to, see harm come to an imaginary cat, and I get the cooler stats. I'm calling a spade for my preferred form.
Okay, give me till next week to think that through. But I think I'm probably going to say okay. Well, give me a week to think that through. Yeah. Yeah. So for the give me a week to think that through. Probably the best bet.
No rush at
Otherwise,
all.
I'll make a snap decision and then regret it down the line. So okay, if you guys would like to take 2 squares, more than fuck's sake. Swear to God, English is my first language. Well, technically it isn't, but it's the one I've been using for 45 years. You'd think I'd have mastered it by now. So, I'm going to try that sentence again. If you would like to take 2 squares worth of movement, I nearly said 2 meters, but of course they're not actually meters on this scale. Yep, you can move into there. That's fine. Where that's been pinged. Okay, so as you work your way through the woods, you're very much away from the marsh now and into the woods itself. It's starting to get late in the day, so the kind of animals you're hearing are different. You're starting to hear things like owls and whatnot, which is interesting because mostly birds have stayed clear of the valley, you've noticed. But it would appear that owls don't give a hoot. No? Okay.
Yeah, I suspect one of us has actually been possessed by an owl.
Yeah. Go on. I can tell there is a punchline. Go ahead.
So do you want to know?
Yeah, go on.
Well, how would you ask me?
Who?
It's her. Him. Marty.
Oh dear.
No?
Okay, that's exactly as bad a pun as I was afraid it was going to be. So, could I have a perception seeing roll from everybody, please?
No, he's
Hang
going
on
to
a
punish us.
second. I've just realised something.
Mhm.
We've got a bear.
Mhm.
We've been attacked by a pig.
Mhm.
I'm now a tiger,
Mhm.
and now you're saying there's an owl.
Yes.
The next thing we'll be seeing is a kangaroo.
I have no idea what that
You're
refers
We're
to.
in the 100-acre wood.
Oh
Right,
God!
okay. Yeah. Okay, yes, I should possibly have got that then. Okay, so Nicholas Marty has. Oh, that's lucky. Okay.
Hang on.
Have we rolled
No,
perception
that's
yet?
right.
Yes, Nicholas and Tamara have
I
rolled.
Hold on.
Right. I'm going to roll perception smelling. 'Cause I'm
Right.
here.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
So I'll just do my perception, and it's this. Well, it's a focus. So I'll roll it as hearing, just to say that it's a focus,
Yes.
so that numerically it's the same,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah, I'll get you.
effectively smelling.
Yep, okay, no problem.
So we can see it and you can smell it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Kerj can smell is nothing out of the unusual, nothing out of the ordinary. What Alderaan and Nicholas have seen, luckily Alderaan was probably at the front, I would imagine. Otherwise, Tamara might have been, and she hadn't seen it. However, you've both scored quite high, and probably restrain her in time. What you've spotted is a concealed snare-style trap, but it's large. It's not been designed to catch rabbits. This has been designed to whip round somebody's ankle and hoist them into the trees.
It's trying to Ewok us.
Trying to Ewok you, yes, exactly.
Let's not
It's
step on that.
quite well concealed, but it's not. It's obviously not well enough concealed, because you both spotted it. The target number was 17, so Nicholas and Alderaan both spotted it just in time, just before anybody blundered into it and got hoisted into the trees.
Dangling by the feet.
Dangling by the feet, exactly, yeah. Okay, so, what would you like to do?
Not step in that thing.
Okay. I suppose really my question was, are you just wanting to circumvent it, or are you wanting to disarm it? Was really what I meant.
Have we got anybody that can disarm?
Well, all you do is you poke it with a stick.
Yeah, it's a fairly basic
Well,
trap.
you
Just
try.
poke it with a stick and that'll spring it. Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Because the trap could be a trap.
The trap could be a trap, but if you're worried about that, by all means make another perception searching roll to see if there's a trap
Yeah,
further.
we'll just throw a rock at it or stick it with a stick or whatever.
Okay,
Let's
so
do that.
you spring the
Well,
trap and exactly what you expected happens. It just closes around the stick and vroom, hoists it up into the thing. Tamara makes a bit of a search just in case and finds nothing except some old tracks.
What kind of tracks?
Human. Or humanoid, certainly.
Engage.
Size of the footprints?
Would be a medium-sized human male, probably.
Right.
Do you know your French shoe size?
This is what I'm considering.
Would be a medium-sized human male.
And this would be within his skill set as a druid.
It would, yep. It would be within his skill set. So it's
Right,
possible.
so
Three footprints.
He wouldn't just have one of these things.
No, they'll be scattered.
Oh, we're talking about the
throughout
trap. The
area.
trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
But by the size of it, what does it look like it's rigged up to catch?
People.
Right. Okay.
It looks very much like it's rigged up to catch people. Yeah.
So I, at this point, us. How fresh does it look? Does this thing look like it's been there for a while? Is there kind of like lichen or any kind of discoloration on the? Is it rope that is used or a vine?
It's a vine. It's a vine.
Oh right.
And it would appear from how old the tracks are that it's been here for a day or two.
Right. Okay. This is fresh. Roughly from around the time I did that fly past.
Earlier, but certainly not before you arrived in the valley.
Right.
So it looks like it's been set at round about the time you were fighting the animals at the mouth of the valley and met Malosa.
Well, it tells me we're on the right path.
Yeah, it looks like he's been aware of that going on. Of course, if he's in the higher of the two skulls, he'd have been able to see it just by looking out the eyes. So it looks like he has anticipated that you might make it this far and has started booby trapping the area. Okay. And with that in mind, going forward, you may now make perception searching tests whenever I ask for a perception seeing test, because you will now be on edge and looking for traps, whereas before you were really just looking for ambushes. Okay.
With that in mind, I don't know how relevant it is because we've got an elf and a half elf in the group, but as a tiger, I also have night vision.
Yes. It is starting to get dark, so that will help, definitely. Yeah. You would say you're probably about 10 or 15 minutes from sunset.
Right, so just getting back to the owls issue that was mentioned, that those animals don't appear to be as affected in the way that other birds are.
Yeah. Well,
we fought a not an owl bear on the other side of the river.
Not an owl bear, yes.
So, what kind of connection is there between that and an actual owl?
None, really, to be fair.
Right.
The not an owl bear was probably more something. Well, you don't know. You've never really heard of such things before. That you don't think they're natural. So, I mean, you could always ask the owl that's watching you. You've noticed one sat on the thing.
Can I cast when I'm in animal form?
No, you can't actually. That's a very good point.
Hey,
Or at least you
could ask
can't
it
with
who.
lesser beast form. Let me just double check about major. Like lesser beast form.
You could ask it who.
No, you can't cast while you're in beast form.
Okay.
Hey, does anybody not find that a little bit worrying that there's an owl watching us and everything out here has been hostile?
Well, this one, to be fair, this doesn't appear to be, but then it could just be serving as the eyes and ears of the Valley Master, you suppose. That's a possibility.
I'm going to, push myself up against a tree and pretend not to be here.
Okay, make a stealth roll.
Could always shoot it.
Okay, you make a stealth roll and disappear into the tree. The owl then kind of just takes off, flies around a bit, and then off.
I thought it was watching me, specifically.
Seems to be.
Why does everything in this forest want to kill me?
You're not sure. I mean, the owl didn't appear to be hostile, which in itself would be interesting because every animal that's been in the valley you've encountered has been hostile, with one exception. And that exception was, yes, the boar that Malosa the Fair lives with.
Right, so that was watching us. That was a scout. We were about to be attacked by something far worse.
It's possible, but it didn't really appear to be paying you that much attention either.
It was
However,
only
it's difficult to
interested
tell
me.
with elves. With owls. Because when you look at them, they can always turn their head away
Mhm.
quite a considerable distance away. Okay, so it's
Rotate your owl.
possible that you might be about to be attacked, so you can take up defensive positions, find cover, draw your weapons, and so on if you would like to do that.
Oh yeah.
Claws out.
Okay, so you hunker down with your claws out and your teeth bared, ready to go for anything that comes. The elf and the half-elf, disappear into the trees. Tamara will either knock an arrow or prepare her sword, whichever you prefer.
Arrow. If there's fly things around, it makes sense to do an arrow.
It does. Yeah. Okay. Make whatever perception test you would like. So you can make smelling, seeing, hearing, anything. You can only make one, but it doesn't matter which one you make. Okay, so Nicholas can't see anything threatening. Nor can Tamara.
I'm going to listen.
Okay, you're going to listen. You can't hear anything dangerous. Alderaan can't see anything dangerous either.
It's like a depressed donkey just walks out of fire.
Well, since the owl left, the
My
whole place
tail
has
fell
gone
off.
silent, and there's nothing you can't see or hear anything. How long would you like to stay on high alert like this before you press on or whatever?
We need to find somewhere to take cover for the night.
We're coming up to a cliff, so there might very well be a cave.
There might be. Might be. You can make a search and roll to start looking for places in the area if you would like to.
Somewhere defensible.
Somewhere defensible, okay. Okay, so what Tamara has discovered is, well, essentially a cave as a hole in the ground. So technically she's found something similar, except instead of being in the side of the cliff, this is straight down in the ground and is covered with a thin layer of interwoven wood, like light branches, which would in no way hold somebody's weight, but is strewn with enough.
Spikes, is it?
There are some. Well, if you take the lid off the pit, you will find there are some spikes down there as well. Yes. So what she's spotted is a pit trap with sharpened spikes at the bottom. So it looks like this whole area is littered with booby traps of different types.
And the thing is, we could actually pitch up camp beside it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have it cover one side of us.
That's true. You could actually.
Yeah.
Make use of it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then if this area is actually booby trapped,
Mhm.
other things crashing around in the underbush may get.
May run straight into the traps.
Good point. Also, hope nobody sleepwalks.
Yeah. Yes.
No. Well, somebody's going to be on watch, obviously.
Okay.
And
So
we can always tie people up when they go to sleep.
Yeah. So you quickly set up camp. You're still in the sort of wooded area at the moment, so there's plenty of cover. One of the higher trees would even provide an area where you could use as an observation platform if you wanted to. You've got one approach to your little camp is protected by the pit trap that was obviously designed to try and catch people like yourselves. Let's just put together a list.
Now,
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
may be confusing my big cats here, so do correct me if I'm wrong. Tigers climb rather well, don't they?
Yes.
Tigers climb,
Yeah.
yes.
All big
but,
cats do.
But
Yeah.
like most cats, with one exception, they can't climb as easily down as they can up. So they very rarely climb so high that they couldn't jump down.
All I'm thinking is just getting a height advantage on whatever it is comes on us, so I can
Fairly,
pounce on it.
yeah, fairly common tiger tactic would be to climb into the lower
Yeah.
trees. Yeah. The lower branches, rather, yeah. Just bear in mind that because of the direction that the claws arc, they climb up very well and down quite poorly. So they usually, when they do climb down, they usually have to do so backwards because otherwise they just tend to fall off.
Yeah.
And as I say, as a consequence, they usually only climb high enough to be able to jump back down as well. So, excuse me. So, how long are you camping, and how many watches are you splitting that into?
But,
I think we should camp for the night.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Get some rest.
Yep. So, how many watches are you setting up then?
Don't know.
Well, it makes sense to divide it between the four. How many of us is there? Four of us.
There's 4 of us, right?
Yeah.
Only 3 of us can see in the dark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good point. Tomorrow can't see in the dark.
Fine,
She can
tomorrow.
still- Yeah, well, okay.
So, who's on first watch? I assume you're going to... Because the question I'm asking really is, how many watches do I need to write down? First, second, third, 19th, 27th, 896th?
3.
Well, here's another question for wildlife watchers. How much sleep do tigers need?
Oh, no, that I don't know.
You're not a tiger, though. Really.
Well, he
For
is
all
at the
intents and
moment.
purposes,
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, he is. Yeah.
the only thing I keep is my own intelligence, which
You could take a cat nap.
which the rest of you want to be thankful for.
Actually, I know lions certainly do catnap. I think tigers might as well, but let me just look
Can't leave
that
that
up.
lion there.
Nah. But you know that, like, in every jungle, a sleeping lion is just a whim away, a whim away, a whim away.
Dear me. Point of order, you don't get lions in a jungle.
That deserves a tiger uppercut. Not if anybody would get that.
Nope.
Nope.
Street Fighter reference.
Ah, right. Average total sleep time, tigers. Bloody hell. 15.8 hours in every 24.
Oh god. I'm a tad snoozy then. Night.
Yeah. And I thought house cats were... pythons need 18 hours of sleep in every 24. Good lord.
So Nicholas just kind of sighs and goes, "Well, I guess that divides the watches between us two then."
Okay, so who's on first watch?
I'll do first. Oh, good God.
And who's on the second?
Alderaan, surely.
Okay.
Hello.
Sean, you still there? We appear to have lost Sean, or he's got himself on mute and not noticed.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm back.
Right. So,
Had a bit of a click problem with the sound there. So what are you asking?
who are you taking second watch then?
Yeah, okay.
Now,
We'll not do the Abbott and Costello.
yes, I was tempted myself. Who's on first? A third watch. Who's taking third?
I suppose I'll take another watch then.
Okay.
No. See, the way we do it is right. Yeah. How many hours are we actually going to be resting for?
Good point. Not 15.
Not 15.
We should rest until the light is better.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not resting for 15.
Okay, so until the light is better is, given I said it was autumn, it's probably getting dark about sort of...
Are we in British summertime or not?
8 o'clock. It wouldn't be far off, I suppose. So let's say sort of 8:15. So it was, yeah, you probably got about 10 hours before it's sort of light enough to be.
So we could do it 5 and 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so first 5 hours is Nicholas Marty. Second 5 hours is Alderaan.
Given that I'm an elf.
Yeah. Nicholas, that means you don't get a full night's sleep, so you don't automatically reset all your magic points. You do, however, get 5d6 plus your intelligence. Actually, it's plus your intelligence every hour, so it's
Is
5
that for my magic points?
Sorry, that's your magic points. Yes,
Right, okay.
So
What did you say it was? 5d6?
5d6 plus 5 times your intelligence.
Bloody hell, that's
Yeah,
generous.
Yeah. Well, it's d6 plus your intelligence every hour. And if you're getting 5 hours rest, it's 5d6 plus 5 times your intelligence.
Oh, jolly good.
Excellent. Kerj, similarly, well, Kerj is sleeping the whole 10 hours through, so Kerj does get 8 hours. So Kerj's magic points completely regenerate. Yeah, all of them back.
Lovely, thank you.
Obviously, you can't use them while you're still in tiger form, but then health points you're going to want to know next, aren't you?
Yep.
So it is. Oh God, I'm not sure I can remember this for a full rest. I think it is your level plus your constitution plus 10. But I'll just double check.
Is it a total rest?
Yeah. So total
10,
rest.
10 con and level.
Yes, 10 plus your constitution
I'm
plus
on
your level.
full now anyway.
I think
Yeah,
that'll put everybody on the full.
Probably if you would take 2 breathers,
Yes, yeah.
it would be effectively the equivalent.
Okay, so in the first 5 hours, could I have a perception test from Nicholas Marty, please? You can either
Just
use
straight
seeing.
perception?
You can either use seeing or hearing. And that's 12. Okay. So, Nicholas is on edge for the first few hours. Then as time kind of rolls on, it's difficult to stay on that kind of high level of alert for all that length of time. So your mind begins to wander a little bit, and you have to keep sort of forcing yourself back to the effort of checking for the area. So you start getting up and walking around the camp just to make sure there's nothing creeping up on you or moving in the trees, no hanging vines starting to get close, no animal prowling the area. You almost fall down the pit, but at the last minute remember it's there and stop and move back. So once your 5 hour watch is over, you're kind of quite pleased that it is, and Alderaan's there bang on time to take over. So could I have a perception, either seeing or hearing, from Alderaan for the second period, please?
Here we go.
19. Yeah, that's... So Alderaan's able to stay alert throughout the entire time. What Alderaan's aware of is the sound of movement in the trees and up on the ridge tells you that there are creatures out there looking. Well, you don't know whether they're looking for you or just doing their own nocturnal thing, but none of them get close to you during the night, which implies that once you left the Oxblow Lakes, you think that whoever the master of the valley is has lost track of you. So he knows roughly where you are, but he seems to be concentrating the search north of here. So you suspect that the masters thought you were aiming for the other cliff and the other skull.
Okay.
So actually, you've picked the perfect place to camp, because by the time he's realised his mistake, the sun is starting to creep up again. You quickly prepare something to eat, being careful not to light a fire and give your position away entirely. You know that he must by now have realised his mistake and started to concentrate his search in a more accurate area. But at least you managed to get a night's rest without too much trouble. So, it's time for you to set off again. Move 1 square for me, please, and let's just see where you went.
Right, so there's a quick discussion around breakfast.
Yep.
Which way are we going to proceed? Are we going to proceed westwards and climb? Or are we going to... This rocky outcrop here to the south of us, is this actually a way up?
Yes, it's a way up, but the map is very slightly inaccurate in that, I mean, it's reasonably accurate, but in that at the bottom end of this, although it's a rocky base and a sort of slope, there's quite a lot of soil and still plants growing to about halfway up that.
Right.
So there's still cover, and there's you wouldn't actually need to climb. It would be like a steep path that you could walk up, bit like the bank from your place to Stanley, except with fewer houses, obviously, more trees.
That's quite a nasty walk.
More skulls.
More skulls. Yeah. Obviously, the real world walk up to Stanley has more dangerous animals than the.
Yeah. I once drove up that road and I was stuck behind somebody who was attempting to turn. No, it was actually a bus when they used to run buses up that route.
Right.
It had stopped. Somebody was going to turn right, and as they turned right, the bus was like stopped. A white car across the road suddenly moved off into traffic.
Oh.
From the verge.
Yeah.
Just as a white van was coming down the hill.
Oh god.
And the white van man's like shaking his fist.
Yeah.
And then we all double take. There's nobody behind the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Handbrake fail.
I've seen that before. We were nearly taken out once by a car that came along the road to East Stanley, backwards at high speed, straight across the top of Durham Road, and missed us by a couple of feet. And there was nobody in it. It was just the handbrake had failed, and it just careened across the
Yeah, well, like I say, there was nobody in it, and I was sat there, and this is heading straight at me, head on.
Aye.
And this is at the top of the bank.
Yeah, this is where we were, the top of the bank as well. Just
so I thought, I'll take that on the front bumper and not allow anybody to die.
Yeah.
Further down the hill, you know.
Well done.
Right, so...
Because I could have just reversed out of the way.
Yeah. Right, so, which route are you wanting to take then?
This is the question. Do we go south and around and up the cliff, or do we climb to the west towards the skull?
I was going to say...
Do you mean to the east?
East. Yes, east.
Like,
Right.
we could go up to the Skull of Fortune from here, yeah, surely.
Yes, you can climb
And that's
up.
the one we couldn't see properly from back when we made our plan.
It is actually, yes, you're quite right.
I took a look at it.
Have a look.
That's the overgrown one.
It is the
Yeah.
overgrown one, yeah.
Is it worth, though, going up and if nothing else, disrupting the cairns?
Could be.
If we took control of it, we may actually gain something that could help us
Yeah,
against the Shaping Skull, where we actually know that there's an enemy.
quite.
If it's overgrown, however, what if it's overgrown with those vines?
Well, I'm on full health now, so you know.
Fire.
Sorry?
Crazy World Arthur Brown there, yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, remember, Kerj can't talk during this discussion.
That's true.
Oh, yes, of course.
Tiger's like a snoring bright.
Yeah, it's paw the ground twice for no, once for yes. So, head towards the Skull of Fortune, and is that the plan?
And I kind of like the idea of that, because I guess if nothing else, we could maybe disrupt the cairns. However, do take into consideration it was me decided to go across the marsh as well. So
But what did,
maybe maybe Nicholas's ideas aren't the best of ideas.
But bear in mind that
But
at
that
this
wasn't a bad idea.
At this point, you've now heard enough movement in the area of the route you would have taken that you
Yeah.
realise that actually would have been more dangerous. Although it seemed
Fair enough.
dangerous coming across the marsh, you've heard search parties to the north of you on the route where you would have come if you'd gone the other way.
So essentially what you're saying is, as well as being the best bard in the area, I'm the best tracker in the area.
I don't think that's what I was saying, no.
Well, are you not the only bard in the valley?
So,
Do you still make tracker bars? Just
Yes, they do.
Lovely.
so right, thought everybody. I think Skull of. Yep. No objections?
Oh, right. Did you say go to the Skull of Fortune? Because Fortune
Yeah.
got cut off there. Right, okay. That was unfortunate.
Okay, so move into the square that you're aiming to move for next. Okay,
Straight
that's
south,
what I
right,
thought.
okay.
Right, so you're heading there, but I'm just going to move you back slightly because you're going to be kind of on the cusp when I take you across to the
Oh,
next
no.
one. What?
What on this map is going to eat me now?
We don't know necessarily that anything's going to eat you. I might just be moving you across to another map just to shit you up.
I mean,
It's the
that is
sort
classic
of-
you.
It is
so.
classic me, yes. Let me just see. Oh yeah, fucking did that, didn't I? That's a thing I did. Okay. So, could I have a perception seeing roll from everyone except Kerj, who can do a perception smelling if he'd prefer?
I think it's a perception snoring. I can't see the new map, by
It's
the
alright,
way.
I haven't
so.
moved you
I
to
think
it yet.
I've got to be awake at this point.
Yeah, you'll be awake by now, yeah.
I'll go with hearing.
Okay. Okay. Kerj doesn't notice anything.
Oh, yeah, and I haven't done
Nicholas
tomorrow's.
doesn't notice anything. Tamara doesn't notice anything. Alderaan notices something a bit odd though. So I just need to.
Tomorrow's a bit sleepy, I would say.
Yeah.
How dare you? She had a full night.
Okay. I
Some
just.
tiger snoring or something.
I'm going to have
probably.
to because I set this. Sick. Okay. Cruising. There we go. Okay, so
Look out!
you're coming out of the blast. Hang on. I will get this right yet. Just give me a second to find where I left you all last, because I'm going to have to copy your things across. That's not the right one, is it? That's the spring. That's the one I'm looking for. There we go. I just need to move all of your tokens together so I can replace them by copying them across. Is going to be the easiest way. Copy, and let's see now. Okay, so you're heading towards the lower slopes of the cliff. That's just a little bit south of you, just off the map that I'm about to place you on, in point of fact. I'll just paste you all into there. I'll just try and work out why there is two shadows that shouldn't be there.
It's the demons. They're
Yep.
following me.
No, I seem to have two trees marked that don't exist.
They're not angry, are they?
They're not angry, no. It's just there's shadows created or dynamic lighting created for two trees where there are no trees, so I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Really weird.
Are we all supposed to be seeing a zoomed-in map at this point?
Not yet.
All right.
You will any minute. Now you're supposed to be seeing a map. You should be in the north, towards the sort of east end. So you
What?
know that you need to get to the south of this map, Organise yourselves in your marching order. Couldn't think what marching order
Hate
was
to
called.
say
Then.
this.
I'm
My
just
elf
thinking-
eyes have seen something.
Your elf eyes have seen something.
I get that.
How the hell did you see that?
Oh no, but I didn't see it.
There's,
Is
there's
it
nothing,
this?
nothing in between us and it.
Oh, so I think
Is
I
it that
found out where those tree shades should have been. I don't know why they were over here instead, but never mind. Because
this
as
thing-
it happens, Alderaan has seen it, so he is aware there is a two-headed dog of some description kind of lurking. Well, he's not sure whether it's a two-headed dog or whether it is one dog and another dog next to it. It's difficult to see through the trees. Two dogs. Two, that's the term I was looking for. Words. Told you I'm not very good today as far as speech is concerned.
Doesn't
However,
look like ginger ale.
what else have you noticed? I think Kerj was hearing. Okay, so Kerj can hear moving around in other parts of this valley as well. So you're pretty sure there's more than one of these things, whatever they are.
I'll send Quoth to do a quick once-over to give us a kind of ping out on where things might be.
Okay, yeah. Move Quoth as you will, and he's got, well,
He's
up
flying.
up to his speed. He's flying as well, so yeah, you can go straight across the.
Right. There's
What?
there's three of them.
Of them,
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Kerj has actually turned into a tiger now.
has he?
I've used the house cat model.
Oh, is
Uh,
that what that is?
Yeah,
I
and I was going to ask if you could just size him up appropriately. That'll do for now until you can fix it.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to size him up a bit. Unfortunately, as you size him up, he starts to look more like a cow.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to have another go at trying to bring the tiger out of the. I'm just going to start with the saber tooth because that's actually in my purse. Yaha! Right, so I can get the saber tooth out of my personal library now. Let's see if I can get the tiger out of the general library. No, I can't. Okay, well, we're a step further forward.
We'll bring out the tiger in you.
Yes,
In you.
They're always so happy, those Smilodons.
yes.
Big toothy grin.
Oh, that's a really nice tiger that it's just shown me there. But it is from the premium assets that I haven't bought yet. It's tempting me. It's tempting me. Look at it doing a big tempt. Yeah, so I've tried to actual stripy tigers and nothing's happened because they've come from the from the web section of the library. But it has allowed me to bring a saber-toothed tiger, which is not striped and doesn't look that much more like a tiger, to be honest. So, would you prefer to use that or the house cat?
I think that. Well, can you size that one up to match my current one?
I can, yes. Okay, I'll just type Kerj's name in there.
Well, I was going to say if you could just size it up first,
So
so
you
I
can
can
decide
compare the
which you
two
like,
at this size, and we'll see which one looks better.
That's
I
probably.
mean, ultimately, it's just a token.
Well, that looks a bit large to me. Come here.
That does, however, look a bit more tiger-like than the tortoiseshell
Yeah.
tabby. That's
It does, doesn't it? Okay, let's do a swap. I will.
Oh, is that a teeny little house kitty with giant fangs?
Okay, so if I do. Come on.
And so at this point, we notice that Nicholas Marty's absent-mindedly tickling Kerj
Petting.
behind the ear.
So, I want to change this to
Who wants some
Kerj.
dreamies? Who wants some dreamies?
Wow.
There's a claw, there we go. I'll just delete that. So yes, as you skill the house cat up, it does start to look more like a cow than a cat. So there's Kerj, who's a tiger, but it doesn't seem to be as stripy as he possibly should be.
We need to get some catnip.
I now no longer have the right click and choose the other forms.
No, you won't have, because that's
Right.
not actually the flippable token, which is a table.
Okay.
That's just the new token. If you change to one of the other forms, just tell me and I'll drop that token in.
Will do.
Also, in the meantime, between now and next week, at some point, whatever's not working at the moment will start to work again. So I will add a tiger to your forms. I'm just going to go again and see if I start from scratch, will it? It's just not bringing those over at all. Weird. No doubt when we come out of the game, I will find something on the discussion boards about why tokens are not working properly today. But they're possibly doing something with them. I don't know. Okay, so that's the position you're. Excuse me. That's the position you're all in at the start. Yep.
Kerj is going to try to flank.
Okay.
So I'm sloping off over this way.
Okay, make a stealth roll for me, please.
Sneaking.
Now then, stealth of the tiger. That's under. Oh, Dex stealth. Yes.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
Dun,
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 dun.
Ah, no blood in those, sorry.
So
Two-headed dogs.
Dex
There
of
we go.
3, stealth of 2.
You scored a 15. So the two-headed dogs have to be 15 to be able to spot you. So they'll be using their perception, smelling or hearing. Probably smelling. Let's go with 14. They've just not done it. So managing to keep yourself on the right side of the wind so that your scent isn't just blown down towards the dogs. Kerj can take a full round of movement before the dogs stand any chance of noticing you.
Right, so I'm going to get myself round behind them, and as they move up to attack everybody else, I'm going to come at them from the back where they don't expect.
Right, okay, so you're going to do a lurk there
Yeah.
and hide. And you've got a target number of 15 if anybody tries to find you. Meanwhile, the rest of you, what are the rest of you doing?
For now, I'm trying to hide, but I'm also going to keep my instruments to hand
Right.
because I know it's got 2 heads, and I don't have a lyre, but I have to try it.
Okay.
Okay, yes, make a not a health roll, a stealth roll.
Stealth roll.
It's like a stealth roll. Can you
But if it's
sneak
a
in?
health roll, I'm pretty screwed. So.
Bang.
Bloody hell.
Oof.
Okay. Move yourself anywhere within your movement range, within your speed range, and that's where you are currently hidden.
Okay. I'm having trouble seeing this grid actually.
Okay, let me
Is
just
it possible
change
to
the
make it a
colour
little
of the grid.
darker?
Yep, I'll give it a go. Said that like there was going to be any problem with it. There definitely won't be a problem. So I'm going to change it to black, see if that helps. If that doesn't, we'll try white. Oh yeah, black seems to
Yeah,
show
that's
up
better.
nicely. Yeah.
I'm going to. Ooh, hang on. I'm going to hide in these trees here.
Okay. So I need to beat 20 with this two-headed dog for it to smell your approach. Nope, doesn't know you're there. So you're pretty close to it, and it's still none the wiser. So, Alderaan, what are you going to do this round?
I suppose I should hide in the trees as well.
Okay.
Why not?
Move
Give it a
yourself
go.
to wherever you'd like to and make a stealth roll for me.
If I do the stealth roll first.
Yeah.
Where are we at here? It's dexterity, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do I keep that roll or not? I think I'll keep it.
Okay, so we all thought that Kerj was doing well on whatever it
Behind
was.
the
He got
trees
a
here at
forgotten
this
now.
point.
What did I say it was? 15? 15.
For me,
For what?
yes.
Yeah. Kerj, 15. So there's only Tamara who hasn't hidden yet. What would Tamara like to do? Well, I'd best
Probably
make
up
a roll to
the
see if these dogs have...
Stand in the open and bang a shield.
height.
So come on, let's.
Yeah, look,
let's-
if we can avoid getting into a fight, that's cool.
You
hit
might
from
be able to
ambush.
creep past them at this rate, at the rate you're
That's
going.
that's a
Yeah.
really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have to fight everything we come across.
No, you don't.
We're trying to get to an end destination, not rack up kills. So
Oof.
Okay, so move Tamara to wherever she's moving, and the closest doggy will get to roll to see if it spots her.
Okay.
So unfortunately,
Hang on,
you've
what
rolled,
was his speed again?
it's unfortunately you've rolled so low, really, because otherwise the sneak past them might have worked. It might still, but that's a relatively low roll.
So she breaks out her red cape and picnic basket.
can I
Skips
jump in?
merrily through the
Can I
woods.
jump in with Quoth?
Yes.
He's going to make a distraction to support Tamara's attempt to hide.
Okay, so move Quoth to where he's going to be, and he's distracting over there. So,
Being
Sits.
very, very loud to get them to look at him rather than at her.
okay. So this is going to sound odd, but make a stealth roll for Quoth, and that's actually an anti-stealth roll, if you know what I mean.
Fine. Yeah.
That's a, hey, look at me, not her. 6, 10, 12.
Something's wrong with that.
Yeah,
That's
12,
16.
16. Yeah. Okay, that's considerably higher. So I think what's going to happen is that this beastie, unless it can beat 16, is going to be looking at you, at Quoth. If it beats 16, then it knows that's a distraction and it starts looking around for something else. Unfortunately, it has to do it visually, and it doesn't have a bonus to its perception for seeing. 18, right, okay, so it kind of looks up and it thinks the only reason a bird would be making that much noise is if something's disturbed it. What is it? And starts looking round. So let's make a second roll to see if it can spot Tamara. 16, I'm afraid it has. Yeah.
Damn it.
Sorry guys, the sneaking past was actually a brilliant idea, but on this occasion it just hasn't worked. It turns, having sniffed out Tamara. Not Nicholas, who she's standing fairly close to, but it knows Tamara's there. It hunkers down, it growls, "Grrr," and we're all going to be needing this in just a moment. So I will clear it from the last time. Remove all. Clear. And go ahead and make the your stealth rolls then, please.
Initiative.
Sorry, initiative rolls, please.
Mine's failed again there.
Aye, and
Like, it
so
rolled,
is,
but
so is
it's-
Patrick's, weirdly enough. I don't know why. So that's two things we know are not working the way they're supposed to today. So I'll need to look into
New
that.
tokens, that's what it is.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that
it
shouldn't
must
make any
be as
difference
well.
because it's just the fact you've clicked on the token this should work.
Yeah, but
But it is the new tokens that aren't working.
Yeah.
It's just that shouldn't have caused a problem. Okay, so I'm going to start by adding Patrick. That's Kerj in. Kerj is on.
Got it.
Appeared with a name, weirdly enough. Never mind. And that one. And that one. And
So at this point, this is when we needed some balls to throw.
yeah.
Stick. Here you go, boy. Here you go. Cat, fetch.
That's interesting. That's the third week in a row that OBS has disconnected and then reconnected at round about the same time. I wonder what's causing that.
Roughly about 5:20.
Yeah.
There's something
Maybe
finished on television.
Maybe
Kettle's
some
on.
kind of server maintenance.
Could be. It just goes out and comes more or less straight back on, but it's happened 3 weeks out of 3. So yeah, interesting. Okay, I suspect I've not added all of these. I think I've missed one, but never
There's
mind. We'll
4 of
find
them
out as
on
we
there.
go. There's 4 of them on the thing. Should
Yeah.
be 5, but never mind. By the end of the first round, I'll know which one was snoozing on the job, won't I? So, Alderaan, you to go first. What would you like to do, if anything?
I'm going to... being hidden in the woods there in the bushes, I'll knock an arrow and wait for the first opportunity to shoot.
Right. Tamara, what is she going to do?
Whatever I can see.
Tamara can't see anything despite the fact that they can apparently see her.
Okay. Well, they can smell her, certainly. They
Yeah.
were using perception smelling, so she can hear something growling in the bushes and trees and whatnot to her right and slightly ahead.
Okay. Well, she's gonna try and find it then, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, I can't seem to move it. Ah, there she is. Ah, actually, if I move to here, I could briefly see it there. Hang on. Ah, if I turn. Can she attempt to fire an arrow at it?
If she can see it, she can, yes.
Yeah, she can now she's moved.
Okay, it is in cover, so she will suffer a penalty, but other than that, there's no reason why she can't shoot. She's going to need a 14 to hit it. And she got a 14. So,
14.
the two-headed dog that's hunkered down and growling at her gets taught a lesson by being shot in the face. Roll the damage. 9, so that's 7 gets through.
And it moves backwards 2 squares.
And it moves, yes, and it tumbles heads over tail backwards. The force of the impact, the sudden shot, thump, that took it completely by surprise.
Oh, and there's 1 more extra damage gets through.
Ah, yes,
Oh,
because it's close.
Is it? No?
Oh, it didn't actually take the damage.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't get that. That's me.
It's just you, okay. I'll have to try that again. It didn't
I
come
think.
off.
Let me check that on there.
Okay, Kerj, what are you doing?
Right, seeing it as everybody else is moving into positions ready to attack, and it looks like these dogs have made us.
One of them has.
Well, they work as a pack, surely, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Then, did I see where that one got knocked back to?
I don't think you can see that deeply into the woods, if I'm honest. No, you can't.
Right. Oh,
Apologies. It's she gets the +1 extra damage, not the knockback effect.
All right, she doesn't get the knockback effect. Okay,
She doesn't
so
get the
we'll
knockback
move it
effect.
back
Sorry,
to
that's
there.
a sharpshooter
Right. Okay, and I'll take an extra
ability.
point off. Okay, so it didn't get tumbling heads over tail, but it did get shot.
is that within charge distance for me?
If it's within half of your total speed, then yes, it is. Right, that cannot be right. So that's telling me it's minus 21 meters away. So let me just take a look at the settings. They might have just been entered incorrectly.
Each square is -1 yard.
It's the only explanation, except it's come up with each square is -3 yards, which is interesting.
Magical forehead.
I must have been drunk when I said those. Let's try that again. So now that we know... Oh! Stay put. 6 meters away. So as long as your movement is 12 or more, which we know it is,
15.
yes, you can get a charge against it.
Okay. Charge.
Right, well, so this two-headed dog is extremely surprised to see this tiger come thundering through the trees and leap for it, make an attack.
Okay. So I'm going to do a claw attack.
Just
It's
gonna
+1
move
to
you
charge, yeah?
Yes, I'm just going to move you slightly so that I can actually access the...
Do I get anything for having attacked from stealth?
Yes, you get +2 to hit. You're taking it completely by surprise.
Oh my god, right, okay. So, base is +6.
Oh, God.
I charged for +7.
Yeah.
Because I'm charging from stealth, this is 3d6 +9 to hit.
Okay, I don't think it's possible to miss here. Let me just... 9,
Would a 12 hit it?
12. Yes, just. So you've hit.
And-
Just roll the damage.
And that's for 2 attacks, though, because
Yes.
it's claws.
That's right.
But you might score stunts.
Oh,
so
you might
need to
score
roll.
stunts. Yes, so do roll. All right.
So there's 1,
You did. You stunted. You got 2 stunt points.
and there's 2.
And you got a 3rd stunt point.
Now, here's a question. Is that 2 stunt points and 1 stunt
Yes.
point, or is that 3 stunt points?
No, it's 2 and 1.
Right. So I can afford 1 2-point stunt and 1 1-point stunt.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
But because lightning attack is reduced by 1 point,
Yes.
it only costs you 2 points.
Right.
And these
so I'll have
tigers are
another-
just moderate threats, you reckon?
No.
So-
we had a discussion last week about this,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Patrick, and we were like, yeah,
Moderate.
So
you
why
keep
would you
using
not do
that
that?
word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I'm going to make another claw attack then.
Right? Yeah.
Now, is that from stealth? Is
No,
it
that
from
one
a char-
won't be. It
So
will
this
have
is
gotten
just
the
a
hang it's
base
been
attack.
attacked at this point, yes.
Right. So this is just a base attack.
It is, so you could conceivably miss. I don't think you're
Right.
going to, but you
Because,
could.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, at what point do each of these things take place?
Right, so it's you appear, cats are pretty
Yeah.
quickly, so you appear, whack it with a paw, whack it with the other paw, it now realises something's happening just in time for you to whack it with the first paw again.
Just for completeness, can I whack it with one of the back paws?
No, it's likely to be front right, front left, front right again.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it could just be right, because cats often
Yeah.
just do that kind of rapid
you've seen a
batting.
dog get hit in the nose by a cat, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, so there's the third attack.
Yep, so that's a hit. That's 3 attacks on the...
Oh my god, you are the cat next door.
Just go,
Now, I've still got a stunt point to spend
Yeah.
from my first attack.
Yeah.
So, what can I get for that?
you
That
get
one.
extra dice of damage, can't you? You can do Mighty Blow for 1 point as a tiger.
No, lethal blow gets reduced, mighty
Ah.
blow doesn't.
How odd.
Skirmish?
Yeah.
There's the seed skirmish.
Yeah, I think I'll have to skirmish it. So, lightning and yeah, it's only lightning and lethal.
So ping where you'd like to move it to with your skirmish, remembering you can fling it behind you as well if you wanted to throw it at the others for them to finish off.
Yeah, that's a
Finish
good
off.
idea actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I skirmish it 1 space, is that 1 space from where it is or from where I am?
Well, it's actually 2 spaces and it's from where it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 spaces.
Yeah, 2 spaces.
So
plus
it is. Yes, didn't see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Right. So
so
now I'm going to start rolling damage.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Now,
think
now
it's
these were claw attacks.
these were claw
which is
attacks. Yes.
the important thing.
You said it was a D6 plus 5 or something?
D6 plus 5. That's correct. Yes. So, is there any bonus to that from having come from stealth, or was that purely to hit?
Purely to hit.
Lovely. Okay. So here's the first one.
So the first claw smashes it across the face, opening a massive gash down the side, ripping its one of its mouths open as well. Lots of blood. It yelps in pain.
Second one.
Then your second claw hits it from the other side. And how would you like to do this?
One claw, each head, pulled off both.
Right, okay. So you pretty much do exactly that. You whack it round the right hand head with the right paw, and then round the left hand head with the left paw. The force is just like clapping two massive boulders together on this thing's two heads. Both of its skulls fracture, and then with your last attack, you fling it over your head, just like a cat playing with its prey. You fling it over your head, and its lifeless corpse lands more or less in front of Nicholas Marty and Tamara Greyhawk.
You both have to make constitution checks whether or not you throw up, haven't seen all that violence.
Can I see either? I don't think I can see either of the other two Cerberuses. So
No, you can't.
otherwise, I would have. But I think I will give a mighty and intimidating roar.
Okay, yep. You this roar echoes out across the forest floor as you, in your tiger form, finish off this creature. Nicholas Marty to go.
Well, I can't see shit from inside this tree, but I saw that.
Blood splatter just hit you in the face.
Yes.
You're like, huh. That was
Are you
messy.
going to let me try and lull the remaining ones to sleep with music? Failing that, if I could persuade them to go away with music, if the roaring didn't frighten them away anyway.
Make
put them to
a
sleep forever.
communication. Yes. Make a communication. Whatever you like. Roll. Go on.
Is it performance?
Well,
Performance.
persuasion gets +1 with the flute. But performance or
So it
performance. if you want.
does actually. Yes. Because you're creating a performance designed to persuade them to bugger off, or go on, I'll let you add the flute.
Okay. So it's actually one more than
So
that.
it is a
'cause
magical
I've got
flute, so it's
Yeah.
16 points, 3 points of stunts.
more.
Everyone loves magical flute.
So, what's going to happen now is that the remaining two-headed dogs are all going to have to make a willpower saving throw. That's willpower self-discipline, of which they have none, and they have to beat your 15.
That's 16, actually.
16, you're quite right. So this one is affected. I'll just have to move him in order to get access to his... this was the problem you were having yesterday, Sean, in your game. Was whenever you pop the thing up, it runs off the side of the...
It's off the top of the map.
Aye, in this case it's off the bottom and the right, because he was in the corner. Okay, there we go. So that's one has failed. Let's just have a look at the others. Has failed. And this one...
Has failed.
it's looking that way, isn't it? The way things are going. Oh no, that one's... doesn't...
That's all right.
That one's more into its Swedish death metal and just doesn't
There's a-
understand the appeal.
Oh, is the one that I didn't see?
Yeah.
16.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably going to sound fairly
Oh, sorry, you
ominous
mean
coming
that
out
you
of the
haven't
trees where
spotted
you
yet? Oh, yes.
don't know where it is.
Yeah. Well,
I
quite
sent,
it is.
I sent Quoth overhead, and I could only see 3 of them total.
Yeah, there's 5. Or there was 5. There's 4 now.
Not for long.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So,
I think there's one down there.
out of the trees, you all hear. Sorry.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then, like, it goes on like that. Got the rest of the tune yet.
You are getting better.
Oh, It's recognisably attuned now.
It's recognisably attuned now, absolutely. Okay, so Nicholas
like it.
Marty uses the magical flute that he found on the mountainside when he was with the Company of Light, and creates this sort of strange, eerie sound, which it has lulled two of the beasts completely into some kind of magical torpor. Whereas the others, who, like I say, are more into the Swedish death metal, can't see the appeal personally and are going to throw bottles of their own urine at
Is that because they're fans of the death metal band Cerebus?
you. Maybe, yeah. Okay, it is Quoth to go.
A little bit more reconnaissance then.
Okay, just fly around at will.
Yeah.
Some of these are better hidden than others because some
Yeah,
are right
there he
in
is.
sort of
Oh,
deep,
I
dark,
see it.
shadowy bits.
I take it Quoth can't see the tokens that have been placed on them.
No. No, so it is that one that's in torpor, so that can't do anything. Then it is this next one that isn't. So this one comes charging through the trees. Let me just see what the speed is.
It's the other one.
So 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one comes bursting out of the trees and comes to a screeching halt as it suddenly and rather unexpectedly encounters a tiger, which is not even native to the region, so it's very surprised.
Which direction did that come from? South.
Southeast, southwest rather. Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. Quoth is going to start cawing rather a lot in the northwest.
Right, to
Right.
warn about the one he's just spotted up there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so this.
Quick question, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did it actually go through any part of my line of sight?
Let me just check.
Because that would be sort of this area
Yes,
over
it
here.
did. It did very briefly, but long enough for you to take that held action. Yeah, take a
Yeah.
shot.
Ooh.
Because I'm going to shoot at it.
Yeah, so it might very well be wounded by the time it encounters this surprise tiger.
Right. This is the question though. Does a knockback effect from me shooting it stop it moving?
I'm going to give it a save and throw. If it passes the save and throw, it loses 2 meters from its movement. If it fails, it stops moving entirely.
Right.
And 17 is a hit with two stunt points.
Yeah, it's to be knocked prone.
Right, well, that's definitely going to stop it moving. So, you shoot it, move it back, and knock it prone.
I take it it's got dexterity less than 5.
I believe it does, but I'll double check. Dexterity is 2. So, it was about here when you shot it. It gets knocked back to here, winds up roughly where it started, not far from where it started, flat on its side with considerably fewer hit points than it used to have. So how much have you done? 12. So that's 10 gets past. It's in a bad way. You've bloodied it in one go.
These things are not that hard then.
Not hugely, no. Okay, so that's that one, and up next is the one you've killed. And then it's the one up in that corner next. So it is actually it hasn't got a clue where anybody is. It can't see any of the threats. It technically has a line of sight to the token of Sean's character, but he got quite a high hide, so it can make another test this round since Sean's fired, but it still has to be 20 to find him, which is possible. It might. So let's give it a try. It didn't. So it's got no idea. All it can hear is a tiger roaring, other dogs yelping, some strange music, twangy death sticks, and it's a crow, a raven rather, cawing wildly above it. So it's just looking.
It's saying in raving, haha, you two-headed smelly dog.
Yeah, It's just looking entirely confused at this point as to what's going on. It knows roughly where the raven came from, so it's going to see if there was anybody down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the closest it gets to anything, so I'll give it another test to see if it picks up on anyone's scent. 18, it has managed to pick up on the mixed scent of people in there. So it will use the rest of its movement. 2, 3, 4. So it gets about here and it can make an attack on Kerj and then it's done.
I think it's about to be done.
Ah, do I? But never mind, it might do stunning. Oh my god, I've just seen what damage they do. It might as well just blow and kisses.
I've got a worse one for you because I've just got clarification on something else that gets a reduction for a tiger.
Right, okay. What's Kerj's defense in tiger form?
15.
Oh shit. Right. Okay, so its heads are snapping at you to no effect whatsoever. What makes these things dangerous is how cheap lightning attack and dual attack are for it, but if it can't hit in the first place, it can't use them. So it's missed, so we will move on to Alderaan next. And this is this round's action. So the action you just took was the held action from last round.
Right, okay, so
This is the
that's
start
bad.
of a new round.
If I move to there, I can see it.
Yeah.
Through the trees.
Okay, it will get cover, so you are at -2 to hit it.
Because I couldn't really see it from where I was. I had to move
Yeah.
a square. Which is a pain. But we'll give it a shot.
Okay.
We've got to hold on to what we've got.
If that song gets stuck in my head for the rest of the week, we're going to have words.
It's okay.
13?
I'll get it out with Hound's Blow.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's a hit.
Because they're coming at us through the trees.
Yes.
Okay, how far away is that?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 5 meters, so yeah, it's within.
Yeah, so it's within distance. Okay, right, so you add 1 to this.
So it's 18 damage. So that's hit it quite heavily. So
And it's not dead yet, is
it's
it not?
not dead yet. It's very
Right,
close
so
to dead.
second attack for the lightning attack.
And that's quickly you shoot it in the side of the head, and then the second shot hits it in the other head. Roll the damage. I'd be surprised if you failed to kill it
That's
here.
9 points.
Yeah, you've killed it.
Bum, bum.
So that's 2 of them down already. 2 of them have succumbed to the magical flute, which I think is the first time since Nicholas found it he's been able to use it.
You successfully, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Tamara to go.
So that was just sleeping. I can't see anything else. So Tamara's just going to attempt to walk forward a bit. Hang on, I need to check her speed again. Doo-doo-doo. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else is attacking, I think it makes sense to just keep stealthing forward, of course.
Yeah. Did you say that in response to somebody else speaking?
No.
All right, okay. It's just the way you said it, it sounded like you had, and I hadn't heard anyone else speaking, so I was a touch confused.
Sorry, no.
Okay.
I think I was just thinking too loudly.
Okay, so you are. Yep, there now. You've moved straight through. It is Kerj to go. What would Kerj like to do?
Well, question first. If you've got the bestiary open for tiger,
You can have. Bestiary should be here.
right.
I will just.
Favoured stunts.
Yep.
Knock prone
Yep.
with no points cost next to it.
Right.
Mighty blow with 1 stunt point, points cost in brackets.
Yes.
Mighty Blow is a 2-point stunt.
Yeah.
Lightning attack listed for 3 points,
Yeah.
but it is a 3-point stunt anyway.
Right. Okay. So it didn't really need to clarify that. Yeah.
Well, not every stunt has its points listed. Later on, under Deadly, special quality,
Yeah.
Lethal Blow and Lightning Attack are both reduced by 1.
Right.
So what I'm thinking is that Lethal Blow should be listed in favoured stunts with a reduced amount, and so should Lightning Attack.
If that's what it says under Deadly, then yes.
Under Deadly, it doesn't mention Mighty Blow at all.
Right.
So is Mighty Blow a 1-point stunt for a tiger, or is that a misprint?
That's got to be a misprint.
But
No, it
why
might not be,
why
actually.
why
No,
only
no,
have
no,
certain
no.
stunts? Why only have certain stunts with a point cost next to them?
Well, normally they don't. Normally they do, but they only list the point cost if it differs from the usual.
Well, looking at Bear, knock prone is listed as 1 stunt point, but it's a 2-point stunt.
Right, yes. So that's why they've listed the number.
So
Because
the
for a
misprint,
bear, it is 1 point less. Yeah.
the misprint must be lightning attack for 3 points.
Because it would have been 3 anyway.
Exactly. So
Yes.
it should be 2 in
Yeah.
there, and mighty blow should be listed under deadly.
Yeah.
Which, as far as the rationale goes, if you better at a lethal blow, you'd be better at a mighty blow as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I questioned that earlier when it had only
Yeah.
1.
Right. Can I see any targets whatsoever?
Let me just get a bead on what you can actually see. I'll just move my turn order out of the way.
Bottom right.
And
Unless I'm seeing that through Tamara's eyes.
you're seeing that through
Yes, I
Tamara's
am.
eyes. Yeah. So, yes, no, you can't see anything from where you are.
Okay. In which case, I will start to prowl
Mhm.
until I can see something.
Okay. Start prowling in whatever direction you feel would be.
Oh. I actually, Quoth's further down the list than me. So, do I take it that the one that he was cawing about was the one that then attacked us?
Yes,
Right, okay. So it came from that direction.
it did.
I'm just going to take 1 square at a time until I can see some... now I can see something.
Right, okay.
Do I understand what Nicholas has actually done with that flute?
Yes. Because you keep
I
with
do
your own
understand it.
intelligence and you knew he had a magical flute.
Right. So that one that I can see, can I see that it is, lying down peacefully?
Yes, you can.
Right. In which case, I will just keep on looking.
Right, you are.
Now. I can see a prone one there.
Yes, and that's prone because it's got a socking great arrow in it and you recognise the fletching.
Lovely. So I think I've moved, 2 or 3 spaces there?
3, I think, yeah, because you started
Yeah.
there, so
Yeah.
3.
So I've got ample to charge that one, yeah?
Yeah.
To charge it while it's prone.
Yes. It's plus
Does
2.
it see me coming?
Well, let's find out. Make a stealth roll versus its seeing roll. So, hearing roll would do actually.
Hang on. Stealth, that's Dex 3, Stealth 2.
$16. Yes, it knows you're coming.
Okay.
Just in time, it realises something's crashing towards it through the trees. So you get
Right,
plus 1
so-
for it being prone, you get plus 1 for you charging.
Lovely. Okay then. So going to make claw attack.
Okay.
So it makes sense that if I land a successful claw attack,
Mhm.
And stunt,
Yeah.
and I make another claw attack, it would be actually better to make a bite at that point, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So plus 1 for charging,
Yeah.
plus 1 for it being prone.
Yeah.
So here's the first attack.
Okay, that's a hit, but with no stunts.
Here's a second attack.
That's a hit with 6 points of stunts.
Yes. Lovely. Okay, so So that's. And how many times can I take the same stunt?
If the stunt doesn't have a plus next to it, only once.
Oh, that's a shame. Because otherwise, like lightning attack for 2 points.
Yeah. No.
Just a flurry of blows.
Yeah.
until it's
Which is
minced.
kind of in keeping for cats, but it's still no.
That's fair and balanced.
If you'd ever
Okay, in
seen
which-
my old cat Pan fighting dogs, because there was a local dog used to regularly try to fight her, and the flurry of blows she would deliver to its head and neck was too fast for you to follow. And why this dog kept trying to go for her when the same thing always happened and it would always run away and hide immediately after this flurry of blows, I have no idea. But this dog was determined that one day it was going to look less stupid and not lose. It never did.
Right then. So, at a reduced points cost, I should be able to take a lethal blow for 4, and a mighty blow for 1. So that's only 5 of my stunt points.
Yeah.
It's already prone. Has it got an armor?
Yes, 2.
I'll also paste its armor then.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, have I got me workings right there?
I think
Was
so.
4 for a lethal blow.
Yeah.
1 takes it back up to 5. No, I can't afford PS armor because
Right, okay.
that will put me over the top.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let me have the damage then. Let him have it.
Right. So hang on, have I got me right number of attacks here? The first one was stealth, wasn't it? Right. Okay. So, yeah, I think I'll just give you the damage in that case. So that's two claw attacks.
Yeah.
Lethal and mighty on one of them.
Okay.
So 1d6 plus 5. This is the first one with no stunts.
Okay. So the first one's 8 points of damage, which is 6 by the time it gets through. So the first blow has given it a fairly severe clout across the shoulder. It's ripped its shoulder clean open with like 3 slash marks across the shoulder, all quite deep.
The second one it's 1d6 plus 5 base,
Yeah.
plus 2d6 for it being lethal, plus 1d6 for it being mighty.
Okay.
4d6 plus 5 damage.
Right. Okay, so how would you like to do this?
He's just eviscerated it.
Yeah.
Pouncing onto its back and tearing each head off in turn with my teeth.
Right, okay. Okay, so the tiger leaps onto the back of the two-headed dog. The dog turns and tries to snap at it. The tiger rips one of its heads clean off. As the other head tries to bite into the tiger's jaws sink down on the back of the neck, straight through the spinal column, killing the dog thing.
It's kind of
instantly.
graphic.
Yeah, very well.
The turn order seems to be all over the place.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
point, yeah.
it does,
Quoth should have gone before me.
Should have done. It's not really going to matter now because that's all the hostiles are gone. There are 2 of the things that have been lulled into some kind of peaceful repast by the strange magical flute playing of Nicholas Martin and his magical flute, and you're literally able to just reassemble and walk straight past them.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a sort of little narrative hook here.
Yeah.
Based on things we've discussed before. When's the last time Kerj ate?
Oh,
Quite a while ago.
He's probably
Bit
going to need a tiger nap as well, though,
bit,
after all that
hungry,
information.
bit hungry then, yeah.
I don't know, because he'll have had some frosted flakes this morning. So yes, I mean, Kerj can feast on one of the downed, corrupted animals if you so choose.
And as to what that might affect him with,
Well, you don't know. That's the point.
hence the narrative hook.
Yes. So, Kerj, he takes a few bites. He eats some of the downed creature, while the other one that's kind of peaceful kind of slinks off, thinking, I'm just going to be peaceful over here, away from whatever the hell that is. And the rest of you assemble and start heading up the stone cliffside, sort of rise, which is again quite steep. But as you're climbing it, there's the topsoil is getting thinner and thinner and thinner till you can see just the stone coming through. You're climbing up the valley towards that skull, which is your next target. And that's where we'll leave it. So, thank you very much for joining me for the game this afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in to watch the game this afternoon. We'll be back next week for the next part of Valley of the Whispering Titans by Jesse Decker, heavily modified by me. So if you have been watching it in the hopes of getting a few spoilers for when your GM runs this, it's an awful lot of differences. But yes, thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next week for the next part at the same time. That's 2:15 British summertime. From us, good evening.